Nepal's House of Representatives continue deliberations on appropriation bill. MPs raise concerns over budget allocations across key sectors. Nepal and China hold high-level talks in Beijing. Both sides pledge of stronger economic and strategic engagement. Meteorologists urge wait as monsoon arrival delayed in Nepal. El Nino likely behind delay. Iran says ending war in Lebanon most important issue in deal with US. Trump says Iran can never have nuclear weapon. G7 leaders meet in France with Iran and Ukraine high on agenda. Macron calls for focus on reopening Strait of Hormuz. And France to meet Senegal in tonight's World Cup clash. Iraq to take on Norway while Argentina to face Algeria. Hello there, I am Sarah Sapsanamarai and this is NTV World Prime Time News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. Discussions on various budget headings under the appropriation bill continued in the House of Representatives today as well, with lawmakers proposing symbolic reductions in ministry expenditures and raising concerns over budget allocations across key sectors. During the meeting, MP Guru Prasad Baral proposed reducing the allocation for Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, arguing that greater investment is needed to strengthen science and technology education from the secondary school level. Likewise, MP Ramesh Kumar Malla urged the government to bring the transitional justice process to a logical conclusion and drew attention to infrastructure projects in Karnali that were initially discussed for funding but were ultimately excluded from the budget document. MP Bishnumaya Bika raised concerns over the lack of sufficient budget for controlling drug abuse and trafficking, disaster risk reduction and prison construction projects. MP Yagya Bahadur Bogati criticized the imposition of taxes on electricity consumption, saying it had increased the financial burden on citizens. Nepal's Sudur Pashchim provincial government presented budget of 33.47 billion rupees on late Monday night after ruling coalition lawmakers failed to reach consensus on budget allocations, delaying its introduction in the provincial assembly. The budget was unveiled amid political disagreements within the ruling alliance over expenditure priorities and resource allocation. Finance Minister Bikram Singh Dhami tabled the budget, although the speech did not specify the distribution between recurrent and capital expenditures. Members of opposition parties boycotted the budget presentation. Under the new budget, the provincial government has launched a youth entrepreneurship development program targeting agriculture graduates and young people returning from foreign employment. In addition, the budget includes programs designed to support economically disadvantaged groups, including Dalits, freed Kamayas, freed Kamlaris, freed Haliyas, persons with disabilities, and single women. The province plans to provide free livelihood-focused assistance and empowerment programs for targeted communities. Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal, who is on a 4-day official visit to China, held talks with Wang Huning, the chairperson of Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, today. According to the Embassy of Nepal in Beijing, the meeting focused on various dimensions of Nepal-China relations and ways to further strengthen bilateral cooperation. The two sides exchanged views on development cooperation, trade, investment, tourism, political exchanges, and people-to-people relations. During the meeting, Minister Khanal praised Wang's strong commitment to deepening and advancing the long-standing friendly ties between Nepal and China. He also expressed confidence that the traditional friendship and mutual cooperation between the two countries would continue to grow stronger in the years ahead. Minister Khanal is also participating in an investment conference organized by the Embassy of Nepal in Beijing today itself. Earlier yesterday, Nepal's Foreign Affairs Minister Shishir Khanal held bilateral talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing. Both sides reviewed the full spectrum of Nepal-China relations and stressed on strengthening overall relations and expanding cooperation across multiple sectors. The Nepali side reaffirmed its firm commitment to the One China principle and assured that Nepal's territory would not be used against any activities against China. In response, the Chinese side reiterated its support for Nepal's sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence, along with assistance from Nepal's priorities in governance and economic development. The two delegations held a substantive discussion on enhancing cooperation in infrastructure, connectivity, border management, energy, trade, investment, agriculture, technology transfer, information technology and digitalization, along with tourism, fertilizers, petroleum and natural gas exploration and people-to-people relations. Both sides agreed to expedite the implementation of previously signed agreements and projects and also emphasized strengthening coordination in multilateral and regional forums in issues of mutual interest. Moving on, Nepal's Medical Education Commission has approved and decided to implement the Scholarship Grant Procedures 2083 BS, aiming to address long-standing legal and administrative issues related to scholarship funding in medical education. The meeting of the Commission, chaired by Prime Minister Balendra Shah and convened at the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers at Singadarwar, took the decision to this effect. According to Deepa Dahal, the Prime Minister's press and research expert, the procedure was endorsed within 24 hours of receiving approval from the Ministry of Education and Sports and the Ministry of Finance, resolving legal ambiguities and procedural challenges that had long persisted in the sector. The procedure was introduced after the promulgation of the ordinance to amend some Nepal Acts 2083 BS published in the Nepal Gazette. The newly approved procedure has also paved the path for granting funds to public educational institutions for providing free scholarships. Time for a short breather here. We will see you back with more updates. You're watching NTV World and this is Primetime News. Welcome back. Ruling Rashtriya Swatantra Party RSP has announced it has completed conventions across 4 provinces and 64 districts so far in a run to its first national convention. According to the latest update released by the party, conventions have been held in 609 local levels, rural municipalities and 4,363 wards across the country. District and provincial level conventions have already been organized in Koshi, Bagmati, Gandaki and Lumbini provinces. The convention process in Madhya province has been suspended at the moment. Likewise, conventions in Karnali and Sudur Pashchim provinces are currently underway. Kalbindra Burlakoti, the General Secretary of the party, informed that conventions have not been held in several districts including Dolpa and Humla in Karnali province, Rukum East in Lumbini, Manang and Mustang in Gandaki and Thanusha, Saptari, Bara and Sarlahi in Madhya province. Burlakoti shared that convention processes had begun but were later suspended in Sindhu Palchuk, Siraha, Mahottari and Rohtat districts. The party further mentioned that preparations are in full swing to hold RSP's first national general convention in Chitwan district from the coming June 21st to 23rd. Monsoon arrival is likely to be delayed this time in Nepal because it has already eluded tentative time for its entry. It is yet to make presence in Nepal even after the passage of 3 days of its entry date compared to last year. According to a spokesperson at the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, Bibhuti Pokhrel, June 13 is a tentative date for monsoon arrival in Nepal. This time, we are, however, bound to wait for a few more days, as the data obtained from satellites and mathematical weather forecasting suggest. The El Nino phenomenon developing in the Pacific Ocean is further strengthening, which is likely to affect the monsoon onset in Nepal. Pokhrel said that the monsoon in South Asia, including in Nepal, may weaken due to development of El Nino. Earlier, the monsoon was delayed in Nepal in the years 1972, 82, 83, 87, 92, 97, also in 2002, 9, 16, 19 and 23. Now, laboratory staffs across all 136 local governments of Nepal's Madhya province have staged a sit-in protest in front of the Public Health Laboratory office in Janakpur Dham, demanding payment of their salaries. The demonstrators say they have not received salaries or benefits for the past 7 months. Technicians said they were compelled to protest as salaries and benefits have not been paid since last 7 months, as their contract renewal issue remains in limbo. The protesting staff have warned of stronger demonstrations if their demands are not met. A case has been filed against 2 forestry employees in Nepal's western district of Kailali in connection with an incident in which a woman's 3-wheeler tempo was allegedly pushed off a cliff. Police say a case has been registered against senior forest officer Krishna Bahadur Bohara and forest guard Chetraj Phulara on charges related to disturbing public peace. According to District Police spokesperson DSP Yogendra Timalsina, only 2 of the 12 forestry employees initially detained have been formally charged, while the remaining 10 have been released. He added the case was filed based on a complaint lodged by the victim. The incident occurred last Friday afternoon when staff from the Division Forest Office allegedly pushed the tempo belonging to 44-year-old local resident Dhanadevi Dhami off a cliff. International news coming up next. For now, a short breather. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that talks with the U.S. on a final agreement covering Tehran's nuclear program will likely begin on Friday. Araghchi also added that ending the war in Lebanon is the most important issue in the peace deal with the U.S. announced the day before.
موضوعی هست که در تفاهمنامه وجود داره، اعلام خاتمه فوری و دائمی جنگ در همه جبهه‌ها از جمله در لبنان. تأکید بکنم این هست که از نظر ما دو طرف این تفاهمنامه، یک طرف آمریکا هست و اسرائیل و طرف دیگر ایران هست و حزب الله.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has said as part of the U.S.'s deal to end the war, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Trump further stated his country has no obligation to invest in Iran, even after its deal with the Islamic Republic to end the Middle East conflict.
We appreciate the relationship we've had over the short period of time with Iran. The primary thing, we can talk about the Iran deal all day long. We're not investing any money. We have the right to if we want, but we're not investing any money. But the one thing that's happening that's of note, frankly, the only thing that really matters to me, is Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And it says it loud and clear. They're not going to develop it. They're not going to buy it. they're not going to do anything with it. And if they do, they suffer unbelievable consequences.
Now, leaders of the G7 are expected to focus on the U.S. deal with Iran and the Russian war on Ukraine at the meeting in France, with U.S. President Donald Trump likely to be urged to quickly finalize the agreement and end the conflict in the Middle East. French President Emmanuel Macron, who is hosting the summit in Evian-les-Bains near the Swiss border, said the priority was to ensure that there is a solid, serious agreement that is finalized. Macron said Tuesday's working lunch would focus on reopening the Strait of Hormuz, including a possible Franco-British-led maritime mission, and on identifying alternative energy routes that bypass the waterway. The G7 comprises the US, France, the UK, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the European Union. Leaders from the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Egypt will also attend Tuesday's talks, but are not expected to engage in detailed discussions on Iran's nuclear program. The United Nations Security Council votes unanimously to renew the organization's UNAMA mission in Afghanistan, despite questions about its objectives and methods from Washington. Key to coordinating aid in the country, UNAMA was extended for a full year to June 17, 2027, according to a copy of the resolution. Member states stress the importance of continued humanitarian coordination and monitoring of the situation in Afghanistan. The resolution reaffirmed support for UNAMA's mandate in facilitating dialogue and delivery of assistance across the country. The Council called for sustained international engagement to address Afghanistan's worsening economic and humanitarian conditions. Japan's central bank, Bank of Japan, has increased its main interest rate to a new 31-year high after a surge in global energy prices. BOJ raised its so-called policy rate to 1% from 0.75%, a level not seen since 1995. The decision comes as some other central banks have raised interest rates this year as the US-Israel war with Iran pushed up the cost of living. Japan's interest rates were cut aggressively in the 1990s to combat the fallout from a collapse in prices of assets like property and shares. They had been near zero for 2 decades as prices fell and growth stagnated. The bank has been gradually raising its interest rate since March 2024. At the time, it was the country's first hike in 17 years. More international news and sports update coming up next. For now, a short breather. More than 40 abducted cats have been reunited with owners after Vietnam police busted a feline theft ring and rescued 400 pets destined to be slaughtered for food, animal rights group has said. Authorities carried out the operation following investigations into the trafficking of stolen pets, which were reportedly intended for slaughter and sale for food. Police intervention led to the recovery of hundreds of cats being transported by the suspected network. Animal rights activists said the rescued cats were later returned to their owners after identification and verification processes, while others were placed under care. Investigations into the wider trafficking operation are ongoing, according to officials and advocacy groups monitoring the case. About 70 colorfully clad horses have paraded in a traditional festival marking the start of early summer in northeastern Japan. The Chagu Chagu Umako Horse Festival is held at the end of the rice planting season in Iwate Prefecture. The event is said to have started when farmers thanked their horses for helping with agricultural work and prayed for their health and well-being. Its name, Chagu Chagu, is said to come from the sound of the bells hung around the horses' necks. On Saturday, the horses adorned with colorful saddles and other decorations gathered at a shrine in Takizawa City and left for Morioka Hachimangu Shrine in Morioka City. The horses carried children on their backs and paraded along a 14-kilometer route past rice paddies. Large crowds gathered at Shanghai Disneyland as performers staged special shows to mark the park's 10th anniversary. The celebrations featured appearances by cast members delivering themed performances, drawing visitors and fans who attended the milestone event at the theme park. The anniversary event highlighted a decade of operations since the opening of Shanghai Disneyland, with entertainment activities organized across the park to commemorate the occasion. Officials said the celebrations are part of a series of special programs planned to mark the park's anniversary year. And with that, we move on to sports update. A series of World Cup group stage matches are set to take place tonight, with several high-profile international teams in action as the battle for qualification intensifies. Former champion France will take on Senegal in the first encounter, while Iraq will face Norway in other fixture. Reigning champion Argentina will play against Algeria in the other encounter. April Lama brings more in this report.
Tournament debutant Cape Verde produced one of the biggest surprises of the tournament so far, holding former world champion Spain to a goalless draw in the FIFA World Cup 2026 Group H opener. The African nation defended resolutely to claim its first ever World Cup point, while Spain failed to break through despite dominating possession for most of the match. In another Group H fixture, Saudi Arabia earned a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Uruguay. Abdullah Al-Amri gave the Green Falcons the lead in the first half, before Maxi Araujo rescued a point for the South Americans with a late equalizer. In Group G, Egypt continued the day's string of upsets by holding Belgium to a 1-1 draw, earning a valuable point against one of Europe's top sides. The day's most entertaining contest came in Los Angeles, where Iran twice came from behind to draw 2-2 with New Zealand. Elijah Just scored both goals for New Zealand, but Iran responded each time, with Mohammad Mohebbi netting the decisive equalizer in the second half. With the results, all four teams in both Group G and H sit on 1 point after the opening round of matches. In the 4 matches lined up for Day 6, France takes on Senegal in Group I at 12:45 a.m. Nepali Standard Time, followed by Iraq against Norway at 3:45 a.m. Defending champion Argentina begins its World Cup campaign against Algeria at 6:45 a.m. Nepal Standard Time, while Austria face Jordan in the other Group J fixture.
Cape Verde goalkeeper Josimar Vozinha Diaz has seen a dramatic surge in global attention after a standout performance in his country's World Cup debut against Spain, with his social media following reportedly jumping from around 50,000 to over 5.6 million overnight. The 40-year-old veteran produced a series of key saves to help Cape Verde secure a goalless draw against the tournament favourites, facing heavy pressure from a Spanish side that registered 27 shots and over 20 expected goals. Vozinha made 7 crucial saves and was named player of the match following the historic result, which earned Cape Verde its first ever point in a World Cup match. At 40 years old, he also became the oldest goalkeeper in World Cup history to record a clean sheet in the tournament. Moving on, 80-year-old educator D. Radnaseed has compiled and maintained detailed records of every FIFA World Cup tournament since its inception in 1930, preserving decades of football history through personal documentation. Radnaseed, a retired Mongolian language and literature teacher and former principal of School No. 1 in Zumin Ud Sum of Dornogobi province, has spent decades collecting information on World Cup matches, teams, players and tournament results. His archive contains records from all FIFA World Cups, beginning with the inaugural tournament in Uruguay in 1930 and continuing through the most recent competition in Qatar in 2022. The collection includes match outcomes, top scorers, championship winners, quarterfinal and final results, and other tournament statistics as well. Despite his age, Radna Seth continues to follow international football and update his records with information from current competition. He said he hopes Germany or Portugal will win this World Cup title and expressed admiration for emerging stars led by Kylian Mbappe as veteran players approach the end of their international careers. Before wrapping up, here's a reminder of our top stories this hour. Nepal's House of Representatives continue deliberations on appropriation bill. MPs raise concerns over budget allocations across key sectors. Nepal and China hold high-level talks in Beijing. Both sides pledge of stronger economic and strategic engagement. Meteorologists urge wait as monsoon arrival delayed in Nepal. El Nino likely behind the delay. Iran says ending war in Lebanon most important issue in deal with US. Trump says Iran can never have nuclear weapon. G7 leaders in France with Iran, Ukraine high on agenda talks. Macron calls for focus on reopening Strait of Hormuz. And France to meet Senegal in tonight's World Cup clash. Iraq to take on Norway while Argentina to face Algeria. That's it for this edition of Prime Time News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and also get the latest update from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Thanks for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World. Facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it.
NTV World. Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
In the natural splendor, the silver-like peaks or the Himalayas glisten. Cradling a pond filled with milk in its lap, the Numbur Himal gleams. The Dudkunda, meaning a milk pond in Nepal's northeastern district of Solukhumbu, is truly the gateway to the paradise. The Numbur, Khatang and Karyalung mountains seem to smile at all times. Adorned with a garland of colorful flowers, the Dudkunda is overflowing as if filled with milk. The very sight defines nature at its best. Feels as if the Numbur mountain is giving motherly affection, holding the lake in its lap. The beauty is so serene and virgin that one fears not to stain it by touching. Indeed, Dudkunda is nature at its purest form. Located at Solu Dudkunda municipality, Taksindu, the natural paradise draws many visitors. No matter how many words are spent describing it, they all feel inadequate upon reaching there. The name itself is fulfilling and equally sacred.
हजारौं नरनारीहरू चाहिँ तीर्थयात्रीहरू दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ। म पनि पुगेर आएँ। दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल, यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो, पुण्यस्थल हो, देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ। त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो।
आनन्द लाग्यो, मस्त लाग्यो। अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन, प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन, जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो।
Situated at an altitude of 4,531 meters above the sea level, Dudkunda is a sacred pilgrimage site of culture and nature. It feels like nature has blessed this place, and culturally, it has bound all castes and ethnicities in a thread of unity. There are various legends and sayings about Dudkunda. One argument is that the pond was formed during the creation of the Himalayas and was discovered by local sheep and yak herders. According to another legend, in ancient times, a yak would go to a stone where the pond is located and offer its milk every day. Later, the place was found to be a pond filled with milk, leading to its name, Dudkunda. This has also led to the belief that gods and goddesses reside here. There are 3 different routes to reach Dudkunda. One route is through Salleri, Faplu, Taksindu and Sasrabeni. Another route goes via Lukla, the gateway to the Everest, through Nunthala, Taksindu and Sahasrabeni. Nature has truly blessed the Solu Dutkunda municipality. Truly, just like the majestic Mount Everest, Dutkunda has the potential to be the destination for everyone in the days to come. It is a thread of unity among all castes and ethnicities. Just like the holy water of Dutkunda, it will become a pure and excellent destination.
This is The World This Week, your weekly roundup of the latest international events and updates. This is me, Bhavna Kesi, and in this edition we bring you the stories making headlines across the globe, from high-stakes diplomatic developments and geopolitical tensions to major political shifts, cultural milestones and extraordinary global events shaping the week. We have all that you need. We begin with update on world football's biggest global spectacle, which has officially kicked off in North America. The FIFA World Cup 2026 has grown global attention as countries begin their quest for football's most prestigious title. For the first time ever, 48 nations are competing across 3 host countries, the United States, Canada and Mexico, spanning 104 matches in a month-long festival of football.
For the first time in history, 48 nations will compete, making this the largest World Cup ever staged. With 104 matches scheduled, fans are set for a month-long festival of football unlike anything seen before. Action begins at Mexico City's iconic Estadio Azteca, which becomes the first stadium to host 3 different World Cups. Mexico will face South Africa in front of a packed crowd, setting the tone for a tournament filled with drama and history. The United States will host marquee clashes, including its group stage battle against Paraguay, while Canada welcomes debutants like Jordan and Uzbekistan, who are making their first appearance on football's grandest stage. Groups promise excitement. Brazil meets Morocco in a fiery contest. Germany faces debutants Curaçao, and the US prepares for a test against Turkey. Alongside the thrill, some of the issues including climate concerns loom large. Matches in hot and humid American cities are already raising questions about player safety. FIFA has introduced mandatory hydration breaks, but cities argue more needs to be done. Environmental activists also warn that the expanded format could result in the largest carbon footprint of any sporting event in history. Despite the controversies, anticipation is electric. From historic debuts to global rivalries, the 2026 World Cup is set to be the biggest and perhaps most debated football festival ever.
As the World Cup kicked off in North America, demand for football merchandise is surging in China despite the national team's absence from the tournament. Manufacturers are tapping into global fan excitement with products like Lionel Messi-themed plush toys, as emotional spending on sports becomes a rare bright spot in sluggish consumer market. Toy charms shaped like a goat and decked out in Messi's Argentina number 10 shirt are popular in China, where sellers are betting on the country's lucrative fan market for a big World Cup boost. The World Cup begins in North America on Thursday, but China won't be there after failing to qualify once again, leaving their sole appearance back in 2002. Still, there is plenty of interest in the country, and the showpiece is a boon for Chinese merchants, crunching out kits and accessories for fans spending on emotional value. The palm-sized software goats, homage to Messi's title as the GOAT, greatest of all time, are a bestseller for All-Star Partner, a Chinese company that has a contract with teams including Argentina to make branded products. Nearby are software footballers resembling Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, fluffy roosters in France, polos, and teddy bears in Spain kids. It is said football merchandise has become a rare bright spot in China's sluggish consumer market, with fans increasingly spending on products that offer emotional connection and personal enjoyment. With the tournament set to draw a global audience, manufacturers are expecting a sharp rise in orders as supporters rush to buy team apparel, souvenirs, and memoirs throughout the competition. Iran has said that no final agreement has been reached to end the current conflict with the United States, pushing back on President Donald Trump's claims that a deal was imminent. The remarks come after Trump said planned U.S. strikes on Iran were cancelled following what he described as a great settlement with Iranian negotiators. Iran has insisted that a final decision on an agreement to end the current conflict with the United States has not been yet reached, despite President Trump again claiming a deal was likely to be signed imminently. Trump had declared that the U.S. would strike Iran very hard again on Thursday, but later said he was cancelling the strikes because negotiators had just made a great settlement with Iran. He told reporters it was subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days, and that there would probably be a signing ceremony in Europe. But Iran's foreign ministry's spokesperson Ismail Baghai said reports of an agreement were speculative and nothing has been finalized. Trump has previously claimed a deal with Iran was closed without one materializing. The U.S. and Israel launched wide-ranging strikes on Iran on 28th of February. Iran responded by attacking Israel and U.S. allied states in the Gulf and effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for the world's well and liquefied natural gas. Despite having agreed a ceasefire in April, the U.S. and Iran have exchanged intermittent fire, including 2 rounds of tit-for-tat strikes this week. At the same time, Trump also has repeatedly talked of the prospects of a deal with Iran. Trump also said the Strait of Hormuz would also open as soon as we have it signed. In the wake of his latest comments, the price of Brent crude plunged to about $89 a barrel US dollars, down 4.4% on the day. Migration and security took center stage in Europe this week as U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth used a D-Day anniversary speech in France to criticize European migration policies. His remarks, echoed by U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, highlight growing transatlantic tensions over immigration as the issue continues to reshape political debates across Europe. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has criticized European nations over migration for allowing what he described as an invasion on their shores during a D-Day anniversary speech in France. Hegseth was speaking in Normandy 82 years after Allied forces stormed French beaches to liberate Nazi-occupied Europe in 1944.
Sadly, today, different European beaches are stormed by different dangerous ideologies. Beaches in Spain, in Italy, in Greece, and Bulgaria. Boats and men arrive. When will European capitals do something about that invasion? Or is it too late? I pray not, and I believe not.
He said they stood by their allies and expected their allies to be capable and ready to stand alongside them.
We stand by our allies. And we expect our allies capable and ready to stand alongside us. The heroes of 1944 did that, and may we. Peace is secured only through strength, and it's strength on both sides of the Atlantic, fortified by readiness, shared military capabilities, and an unwavering political will.
Migration has become a major political issue across Europe, with parties supporting hardline immigration policies surging in polls. The Trump administration sees an immigration crackdown as a key part of its domestic policy agenda, requesting billions more in funding for enforcement agencies. Hegseth's comments mark a further criticism of European migration policy by senior members of the Trump administration. On Friday, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance blamed the death of the 18-year-old British student Henry Nowak, who was fatally stabbed last year in Southampton by Bikram Digwa, on the mass invasion of migrants into the country. Chinese President Xi Jinping wrapped up his state visit to North Korea after high-level talks in Pyongyang aimed at strengthening bilateral cooperation and strategic ties between North Korea and China. Chinese President Xi Jinping has concluded a state visit to North Korea following a high-profile farewell ceremony in Pyongyang. He was seen up by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and his wife Ri Sol-ju, as state media reported. Large crowds lining Pyongyang's streets waving Chinese and North Korean flags in a display of support for bilateral friendship. During the visit, the two sides reportedly reached agreements to strengthen cooperation in areas including economic coordination, regional stability, and high-level diplomatic engagement, while also reaffirming long-standing political ties. The discussions are said to reflect continued efforts by both countries to deepen strategic relations amid shifting geopolitical dynamics in the region. The visit comes amid ongoing efforts by Beijing and Pyongyang to strengthen bilateral relations and deepen cooperation between the two neighboring countries. State media in both countries described the visit as an important occasion for advancing traditional ties and enhancing strategic coordination between China and North Korea. Hundreds of supporters of the satirical Cockroach Janata Party gathered in New Delhi to protest alleged irregularities in India's competitive examinations. They used viral symbolism and social media-driven activism to demand accountability over exam paper leaks and technical failures. Hundreds of supporters of the Cockroach Janata Party (CJP), a satirical social media movement, gathered in New Delhi on Saturday to protest alleged irregularities in India's major competitive examinations. Demonstrators wearing paper cockroach masks demanded the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over question paper leaks and technical failures in national exams. The protest follows the cancellation of a nationwide medical college entrance examination after investigators uncovered a paper leak, sparking widespread criticism and concern among the students. The movement, which has attracted millions of online followers, was led by Abhijit Dipke, a Boston University graduate who arrived from the United States to join the demonstrations. CJP emerged after reports that Chief Justice Suryakanta compared government critics to cockroaches and parasites during a court hearing, triggering backlash among young Indians. The event, which featured staged elements and props resembling the cockroaches, has raised questions about novelty party trends and their growing popularity among young people seeking attention on digital platforms. The incident also highlights the growing influence of viral culture in India's social scene, where unconventional party concepts are increasingly designed for online visibility. NASA has announced the crew for its Artemis 3rd mission, an important part of its plan to explore the moon. However, because SpaceX's Starship lunar lander is not ready yet, the mission has changed from a planned moon landing to a technology test in Earth orbit. NASA has named its crew for its next major moon mission Artemis 3rd, though the astronauts will not walk on the moon or go anywhere near it this time. The mission was originally planned as the first crewed lunar landing since Apollo 17 in 1972, with 2 astronauts due to shed down near the moon's south pole and spend a week on the surface. But in February, NASA changed that plan and said the mission would fly only in low Earth orbit, barely deeper into space than the International Space Station, and dock with prototype lunar landers. NASA's Administrator Jared Isaacman said the mission would nevertheless be the most complex ever.
And now, just as Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo crews that came before them, Artemis 2 will pass along all they have learned and hand the torch to Artemis 3. Over the next year, they will train for their mission, ensure the lessons learned from the prior crew are implemented, and assist in the development of the landers and operational procedures that will be necessary for their colleagues on future Artemis missions.
Astronaut Luca Paramitano has described the upcoming space mission as one of the most complex he has faced, citing the large number of interconnected elements involved in the operation.
It's a very complex mission. Every mission is always more complex than the previous one. This one is complex in that it has many moving parts, and so I'm looking forward to the challenges, and I'm humbled by what's expecting us.
Artemis III changed from being an historic manned moon landing to a technology test in the Earth orbit because of delays to Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship rocket. This is the vehicle intended to take astronauts from lunar orbit to its surface. It was also judged to be too big a leap to go from looping the moon with Artemis II to go straight to a lunar landing without first testing the procedure to dock with the lunar landers in the Earth orbit. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force has publicly displayed its hypervelocity gliding projectile launcher during a live-fire exercise in Shizuoka Prefecture, marking a key step in the country's evolving counter-strike capabilities. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force has unveiled a launcher used for hypervelocity gliding projectiles, or HVGPs, for the first time since their deployment earlier this year. SBGPs are a kind of extended-range missile that can be used as part of Japan's counter-strike capabilities. The missiles have a range of several hundred kilometers. Their warheads are designed to glide through the air at supersonic speed and are considered to be more difficult to intercept than conventional missiles. Type 25 SBGPs have been deployed at the Camp Fuji. Civic groups staged protest when the deployment started back in March. This year's Fuji firepower exercise, the 68th of its kind, was based on a scenario of defending a remote island. It included firing drills by tanks and intelligence gathering using drones. Unmanned vehicles under development are also used. The exercise is expected to consume a total of around 69.5 tons of ammunition worth around 820 million yen or $5.1 million. Turkey has launched new night museum experiences in Cappadocia, illuminating some of the region's most famous historical and natural sites to give visitors a unique after-dark view and boost year-round tourism.
Turkey expanded its tourism offerings in Cappadocia by introducing new night museum experiences designed to attract more visitors throughout the year. As part of the initiative, several of the region's most iconic historical and natural sites were illuminated, allowing tourists to explore them after sunset. Lighting work was carried out at the Gorem Open Air Museum, Zelv Open Air Museum, Pasabag Archaeological Site, and Erdemli Valley, with 692 fixtures set to be installed by the end of the month. Officials said the project would encourage longer stays and provide visitors with a unique nighttime perspective of Cappadocia's ancient rock-carved settlements and famous fairy chimneys.
A baby greater bamboo lemur, a critically endangered species, has made its first public outings at a French zoo after being born in early May, marking a rare and encouraging birth for conservation efforts. A baby greater bamboo lemur, a critically endangered species, has made its first public outings at French zoo after being born in early May. The infant, observed clinging tightly to its mother as it takes its early steps outside its enclosure, is being carefully monitored by zoo staff as it gradually begins to explore its surroundings. Zoo officials say the birth is a significant and encouraging moment for conservation efforts focused on protecting the species, which faces severe threats in the wild due to habitat loss and environmental pressure. The young lemur's progress is being closely watched as part of broader efforts to support breeding programs for one of the world's most endangered species. The greater bamboo lemur is native to Madagascar, where its population has sharply declined in recent decades. Conservationists say every successful birth in captivity is vital to sustaining the species and strengthening the long-term protection plans. Golden seaweed has returned to the waters of Vietnam, transforming coral reefs into a striking underwater landscape while underscoring the ecological importance of coastal ecosystems.
The waters of Non Hai in Chu Non Dong Ward, Gia Lai Province, entered their annual sargassum season, transforming the seabed into a stunning landscape of golden seaweed forests, stretching across vibrant coral reefs the underwater ecosystem, attracted attention for both its beauty and ecological significance. Once harvested for medicinal use and local livelihoods, Sargassum was increasingly recognized as a vital habitat for fish and other marine life. The seasonal spectacle also highlighted the importance of protecting Vietnam's coastal ecosystems as the country continued to expand its marine economy.
The Moroccan city of Fez hosted its annual music festival, drawing thousands of visitors for 4 days of performances, celebrating global music traditions and intercultural dialogue. More than 160 artists from 20 countries took part in concerts and events held across historic venues, reinforcing the festival's status as a major cultural gathering. For 4 full days, the Moroccan capital pulsed to the rhythm of voices and instruments from across the globe. As every year, audiences turned out in large numbers for the festival's performances, reaffirming its status as a major annual gathering for lovers of musical traditions and intercultural dialogue. Local spectators in particular attended in impressive numbers from the morning concerts to the late-night performances, reflecting the deep attachment of the people of Fez to their long-standing and prestigious festival. Over the course of the 4-day event, more than 160 artists from around 20 countries took part in 18 concerts and artistic performances alongside forums and meetings centered on art exhibitions. Overall, more than 32,000 spectators traveled to the Moroccan city to contribute to the success of this edition, notably at the iconic Bab al-Makina Square, which alone welcomed nearly 5,000 attendees. And with that, we come to the end of this episode of The World This Week. We shall see you again next week with a new episode, and we hope you enjoyed as much as we did bringing it to you. Also, do follow us on our official website, www.nepaltelevision.com, our social media handles, as well as our YouTube channel. Till then, take care and bye-bye.
Annapurna Circuit Trek features in world's 10 best destinations and adventures. The trekking circuit is the choice of many trekkers as it offers both adventure along with mesmerizing view of mountain ranges. Arguably the best trekking circuit in the world, travelers get up close with dozens of mountains including the Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, Nilgiri. Annapurna Circuit ideally is a 14-day trek. The circuit passes through Lamjung, Manang, Mustang and Myagdi district, including Thorangla Pass as the highest point. Places including Thampus, Ghandruk and Poon Hill are part of this trekking circuit. The revered Muktinath shrine is also part of the circuit. Only foreigners were seen in this circuit few years back, but now domestic tourists are also flocking the area. If you are looking for a lifetime trekking experience, then pack your bags for Annapurna trekking circuit. Mardi Base Camp Trek, also part of the Annapurna circuit, is another alternative route for trekkers who can't afford time. Trekkers can be up close with mountains including the Annapurna range, Dhaulagiri, Machapuchre and Manasalu in this circuit. This 7-day circuit is attracting
many trekkers for obvious reasons.
Whatever music all over the world is I think it's a universal language, you know. And basically, when it comes to musicians like us, we really get connected when somebody or from some part of music from different part of the world can go well together, and we can do so many different things, you know, because we come from different culture, we come from different perspectives in life, you know.
We started jamming together, and then we were asked to play a festival at the Pathan Museum called the Namlo Music Festival, Music and Heritage Festival, I believe it was called. And so we were asked to do that, and I said, okay, I'll put together a band with Prince. And then he called his old buddies from when he grew up jamming with them. I would play a bluegrass tune, and then they would say, oh, that sort of goes like this Nepali tune. And we would just go from one to the other, and then I would show them my songs, and we would do that. So that was 3 years ago now.
Joy and Prince has already said about it. Actually, they both first met each other. I mean, Joy knew Prince's father back in the US, and I was a struggling musician in Kathmandu, and I was friend with Mr. Prince Nepali, and we used to play in some other different bands as well. And once Joy and Prince, they both met, and Prince was like, are you interested in doing something new, something different rather than rock and pop music? What about some fusions and bluegrass and folk music? And he challenged me like, do you want to do it or not? And I was like, okay, I'm up for it. And then actually it's that kind of story.
Actually, I'm planning like I haven't done any like production or anything like this with this instrument, so I'm actually planning for like trying to fuse a different instrument and get some production of different like percussion instrument and our traditional composition, not just Tibet. There are also different instruments like chi, ta, and different folk instruments as well. So I think also I'm planning like to get collaborated with different folk artists and the traditional drummers to bring them together and then make some compositions or just play already composed things and then just make out some videos and then share it with maybe on some social platforms like this.
The music that we are doing right now is like a crossover between American bluegrass music and Nepali folk music. And actually, first of all, we came up with an idea of just playing with each other, just jamming together. And we found out that, okay, so this could work very nicely together. So I'm using like a traditional instrument, sarangi, and we're combining this with the mandolin that comes from the US and the bluegrass music. And I think my idea is basically to present it like my folk culture and my traditional songs, and also like go together with the American music. I've been very fortunate and blessed to be born in such like musical family. So being a fourth generation, I think I never felt the pressure. First of all, because I enjoyed what I was doing, and then more than that, I think it's basically the kind of fun that I have with music, and I think there's some different intimacy between me and music, you know. So I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I really had great fun. So I've been working on different projects and trying to inspire the youth at the moment in my life. So I have this project called Sarangi Ghar, where I basically have like classes. We also have the store. We do produce sarangi, and I think it's also encourages me to explore with the instrument itself, you know, and the culture itself, because it's so beautiful. And like Nepal being so rich in culture and tradition, I want to like collaborate with different artists, folk artists in Nepal and all from the world actually, and create different kind of new music with different caste and ethnic groups here in Nepal. They also have their own traditional instruments, folk instrument, you know. And I think you must like find a way to have fun with it actually. And then I think more than anything else, actually, the youths can just enjoy what they have been like with the music itself. And I really actually want them to explore Nepali music more, you know. Youth can basically have like an opportunity where they can just go explore, you know, find an instrument. We have tungna, we have sarangi, we have many other instruments. Like if you go in the western part of Nepal, you have like far western part, you have hudke baza, you know, and there's lots of binayo and everything. And I find panche baza is interesting as well. So, you know, everybody can explore like whatever interest they have. They don't have to take it very professionally. They can just enjoy with it actually. Himalayan Highway is like it's a music that's crossed between the Nepali folk and American bluegrass music. So today we'll be presenting mostly the fusion of like the instrumental thing, and we will be singing a few of our original songs. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy.
चिसो हावासँग यो मेरो मनको भावनाहरूलाई सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँग यो मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई पानी परेको बादलहरू अझै पनि माथि माथि घामको न्यानो स्पर्शसँगै इन्द्रेणीको रङ्ग पनि त्यही सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँग यो मेरो मनको भावनाहरूलाई सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँग यो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई मन मेरो खुला आकाशै भरिएको छ जुन र ताराले आफ्नो खुसी यहाँ आफै खुसी उडी जान्छु हावा बनी सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँगै हो मेरो मनको भावनाहरूलाई सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँगै हो मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई
Actually, our first name was Manaslu Blue. The blue was for bluegrass, and then Manaslu was for Nepal. But then I was about a year in, I was brainstorming with my parents, and our goal with the band is to bring it abroad. I come from my perspective of American folk music, and these guys bring their wonderful Nepali folk music. And I think the goal of the band is to share this amazing fusion and to show people especially how amazing Nepali folk music is and how much we can do these cross-cultural collaborations. But the thing about Manaslu Blue is that no one outside of Nepal knows the mountain Manaslu. So then I was thinking with my dad, and somehow we came to Himalayan Highway. Highway is a very American thing, and there are a lot of bluegrass bands, Blue Highway, Golden Highway, so it's a common name. And then we thought Himalayan to talk about Nepal and the region. Well, first of all, I just fell in love with Nepali culture. I love momos, I love dal bhat, I love it all. I love this beautiful country. We want to show more people the beautifulness of Nepal. I think that from my perspective, I love Nepali folk music, but in this country, sometimes people haven't valued it. They've looked to the West for other influences. And so one of our goals is to bring up Nepali folk and using it. We're not just doing pure folk music, but to show that this is a vibrant, evolving history and tradition that is still relevant today. And then I also think to people abroad, and especially to Nepalis, I want to show them that they can take their instruments and their culture and they can bring it to the world, and that it's so amazing. I mean, everyone who I know maybe they don't know so much about Nepal, maybe the only thing they know is that Mount Everest is there. But then once they try a momo, once they hear some music, then they love it. And so we want to just share this music with more people and share the cross-cultural collaboration.
When the night birds come, that's when I lose my mind.
lights down low. I can't keep control, and my thoughts spill out of the hole. And I sing hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I sing hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I sing hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. 'Cause all day I chug way after work and try to shove down all of the hurt. But sometimes at the end, does it fade on the page, and my eyes just run a glaze. Let it burn, and I sing hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. And is there ever an end to this breathless whirlwind? Is there even a point of it all? 'Cause at the end of the day, just us back in the fray on this rugged, snowy road. And I say hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I sing hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I sing hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. And I sing hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I sing hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I sing hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. There's a guy on the stage, and he's playing the guitar the wrong way around. And I also have to tell you that that's not his main instrument, in fact. His main instrument is the piano, but he also slays at the guitar. That's Mr. Enes Tamang.
Nowadays, I think many young generations, upcoming generations, like they are more over into like different. I mean, it doesn't mean to demean it, but people are more over into different kind of music rather than our own cultural music. And I think promoting like this, like promoting through our own traditional instrument like sarangi and tabla, and maybe fusing it. Of course, it's not like we don't utilize the Western culture. Also, we utilize it, but we should not forget like our own roots, our own culture. So yeah, I think it's important so that we could carry the legacy as well of our own musical instruments and our own culture as well. Our brand is like, it's like the main goal is to, like, of course, promoting the folk culture, our own tradition and culture music, and with a unique taste, of course, as mentioned earlier. And I want to encourage you all to do music, like never give up. Like in some point of life, like we are doing it as a professionally, and some people might be like demotivated, or they might be like in confusion also whether should they pursue the music as their career or not. But I suggest them just do it. I know there is going to be ups and downs, there is going to be a lot of struggles, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And yes, of course, don't forget to promote their own culture as we are doing. We just wrote a song like few days ago, and it was so random, but it turned out so beautiful. It's called Samjana Bho, and it's a Nepali, like Prince wrote it. It's a Nepali song, but we are fusing it with the American bluegrass thing. Recently, it's the favorite. Not because it's just written in few days ago, but it has a very good meaning.
Story चाहिँ childhood love story को बारेमा हो, जहाँ चाहिँ दुईजना साथीहरू चाहिँ एकदमै स्कुल टाइमको लभदेखि नै धेरै अगाडि बढिसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा पोइन्टमा चाहिँ जुन चाहिँ केटी साथी हुन्छ ऊ चाहिँ 4-5 वर्षको लभपछि चाहिँ हराउँछ, र त्यो हराएको बेलामा चाहिँ केटाले चाहिँ धेरै थुप्रै प्रयासहरू गर्छ खोज्नलाई चाहिँ, तर कहिले पनि भेट्न सक्दैन। र पछि हिँड्दै जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब 5 इयर्स पास भइसकेपछि चाहिँ अगाडि गएर हिँड्दै बाटोतिर हिँड्दाखेरि चाहिँ उसले झसङ्ग एकजना चिनेको अनुहार देख्छ है। अनि चिनेको अनुहार देख्दाखेरि चाहिँ उसलाई चाहिँ अब उसले पहिला भेटेको मान्छे चाहिँ अलिकति चेन्ज भएको रहेछ, तर अगाडि जानलाई चाहिँ ऊ अगाडि बढिसकेको हुन्छ, तर त्यहाँ चाहिँ एउटा सानो बच्चाले चाहिँ त्यो केटीको हात समाएर हिँडिरहेको हुन्छ, जुन चाहिँ उसको छोरी हुन्छ। केटा चाहिँ अब अगाडि बढ्न सक्दैन, र त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ यो गीतको सुरुवात हुन्छ।
सम्झना सम्झना
Well, there's one person who has actually the most microphones, but no vocal mic. He's got a master's in tabla performance, and he's just an amazing percussionist, Mr. Yusuf Maharjan.
So right now I'm using these three stone instruments. So basically, this instrument on my left side is called dhime. So this is our traditional ethnic Newari instrument. It's from Kathmandu Valley itself. Unique sound, actually. It's very bass boosted, and it's one of the very important instrument for our Kathmandu Valley, and it's used in most of the festivals. Like, you will barely see a festival where there is no dhime instrument. So I think the instrument that holds too many emotions of this valley and this country, it should be shared and should be known to the world. And so, speaking about this mandal and tabla, and also with the tabla, I would say, like, all of these three instruments these are one of the really old instrument of the world, I would say. Like, it's more than 1,000 years old instrument, so it's already like history living and the sounding of history, So I think it's really important that the Western music that's not even more than 500 years old is being too much exposed, and yet this more old and more dynamic instrument, not just dynamic, and also the compositions, the sound, the tonal quality, this instrument really needs highlight to the world. At first, the whatever generation is alive right now, so they must actually pass down this tradition and this instrument, how to play the instrument, how to blend this instrument with the different musics that's available in the world right now, let's say. To be honest, I'm really proud right now because there is not too much like musicians who are promoting our own traditional music or our instruments. Lots of Nepali people and youngsters nowadays, like, they are too much into Western music, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but I think along with the Western music, I think we should also try to share our Nepali culture, Nepali music. And so this is one of our initiatives to show the world, like, how can we fuse Nepali folk instruments music with the American bluegrass music, and show them a new taste, how does it sound with the fusion of these two different music from different worlds.
Human beings have made drastic progress in the sector of handicrafts with the development of civilization from the Stone Age until the 21st century. These include and are not limited to works of art, sculptures, wood and metal crafts. These handicrafts have also found religious, historic, cultural and archaeological acceptance and significance. Religious texts have identified the attraction of human settlements in the mountainous region of Nepal, which has always remained an independent sovereign nation. Ramapithecus human remains found in Butwal of West Nepal clarifies that human settlement had begun in Nepal more than 10 million years ago. We find historic references of works of handicrafts made by those living in this region. Such Nepali handicrafts are artistic and useful, therefore also successful in gaining international appreciation. Instead of the modern handicrafts, Nepal is well introduced in the international community by its traditional and historic works of art and craft. Millions of tourists who visit Nepal every year observe, study and relish the traditional handicrafts available at religious shrines. The high-quality woods brought from local forests are seasoned before being carved. Nepali woodcrafts are not only popular inside the country, but also have a demand abroad and therefore are exported. In addition to sculptures of gods and goddesses, artistic doors and windows, among other furniture, are made from wood in Nepal. Best examples of Nepali woodcraft can be taken as the artistic carvings at palaces, temples and other religious shrines in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The 6th century woodcraft present at Rudravarna Mahavihar in Okubahal of Lalitpur is considered the oldest. Nepali woodcraft continues to thrive with the creativity, dedication and effort of trained artists. Artist Punyaraj Tuladhar, popular around the world, shares his experience. Lalitpur is popular around the world for its metal craft in Nepal. Works of metal craft produced here had a great demand in countries including Bhutan, Japan, China and European nations. Metal statues are developed using two methods in Nepal: repose art and lost wax process, both widely popular around the world. Repose art is a metalworking technique in which a malleable metal, silver, copper and brass among others, is shaped by hammering from the reverse side to create a design in low relief. Small sheets of metal are cut based on required measurement to form different organs of statues before being welded together. Designs and patterns are then carved into the structure. Gold is plated in some works such as metalcraft as well. Such metal sheets are also used in the roof of temples and other religious shrines. Lost wax process is the technique by which a metal sculpture, often silver, gold, brass or bronze, is cast from an original sculpture of wax made of honeycomb. Molten metal is poured into a mold that has been created by means of a wax model. Once the mold is made, the wax model is melted and drained away. In the second phase, the metal sculpture is cleaned with different machines or equipment. After filling of the sculpture, it is then plated with gold or painted with colors based on the requirements. Most of such sculptures are found in Buddhist and Hindu religious shrines. Globally recognized senior artist Krodh Kala Shiromani Kalu Kumale shares his experience. Existing sculptures present in Nepal and at museums abroad prove that the works of sculptures have a long history in the country. Sculptures made using the lost wax process have a huge demand in China and other countries and continue to be exported. Okubahal, Nagbahal, Haugal and Tangal, among other places, are the pioneers in metal craft. Likewise, metal crafts of Tansen in Palpa, Chainpur and Bhojpur are also popular around the world. Silver filigree art of Nepal is internationally recognized. The genre, which began during the Lichavi era and grew in the Malla era, is considered quality work of art of Nepal. Attractive shapes are made from metals including silver, and precious stones are then used to create artistic objects. It is believed that works of filigree art were the first ones to be purchased by tourists. Artists speak of a huge demand of quality Nepali filigree art in the international market. Senior artist Dilliraj Shakya shares his experience. Stone art is taken as a significant category of handicrafts. Equipment including hammers is used in development of beautiful sculptures. This form of art had begun with the development of different kinds of weapons. They are strong and durable and therefore remain intact. Most of the sculptures of gods and goddesses are made from stones. Likewise, sculptures of animals, stone taps, temples, religious symbols and goods used in daily lives are also made from stone. Most of such sculptures are made from the stones found in local hills, including Hatibon, Mathegao, Tika Bhairav, Godavari and Kharpa, among others. Senior artist Dharmaraj Shakya says that Nepal's stone art has a unique identity. Of the stone sculptures found so far, a sculpture of King Jaya Varma found in Harigao and currently conserved at National Museum in Chhaoni is considered to be the oldest historic sculpture. Likewise, sculptures in Changu installed by King Mandev, another found in Tilganga near Pashupati, a sculpture of Vishnu Vikrant in Lazimpat, and the one at Budhanil Kantha are also considered historic. Sculpture of Virupaksha Kirateshwar Mahadev at Pashupati Aryaghat, Vishwaroop at Changu, Garud Sayan Vishnu sculpture, Palanchuk Bhagwati, Gazalakshmi of Lalitpur, Chashal Hiti and Krishna Mandir of Patan, among others, are considered the best stone sculptures of Nepal. Terracotta sculptures and masks, among other artworks, are made from clay. Terracotta works are thought to have been in existence in Nepal from a long time. According to historians and archaeologists, terracotta works found during a recent excavation administered by the Department of Archaeology were from the 2nd century BC. In recent practices, terracotta works are made before the development of metal sculptures. Different goods used in daily life are made from terracotta works. In addition to the sculptures of religious figures, products such as cups and plates, among other utensils, are also made from terracotta technique, while they are sold in domestic and foreign markets as well. Artists who have been working with terracotta for ages live in Thimi of Bhaktapur, Dang and Kapilvastu. Popular artist Gopal Kalapremi says the creativity and dedication of Nepali artists has been uplifting terracotta works in and outside of Nepal. Pauba art is made in the Kathmandu Valley and is considered as a traditional art form. This form of art is known as Thanga in Tibet. In Tibetan language, documentation and archives of gods and goddesses is called Thanku or Thanga. In this form of art, color from natural minerals is used to paint the pictures of religious figures on cloth. The large figure of main god and goddesses is placed at the center, while remaining gods and goddesses are placed in relatively smaller figures at the other parts. The background of this form of art includes different kinds of flowers, clouds, trees, and birds and animals. An artwork of Ratnasambhav Buddha conserved at the County Museum in Los Angeles of the United States of America is considered to be the oldest Paubha art which was developed in the 13th century. The Amitabha Buddha art of the 13th century, also at the County Museum alongside Vishnu Mandala of 1420, and the 19th century's Sahas Bhujalokeshwar saved at the National Museum in Chhaoni, are considered to be Nepal's best Paubha artworks. The demand of Paubha artworks is increasing in Nepal and the foreign market. Popular and senior artist Lok Chitrakar says continuous efforts of talented artists has helped increase the popularity of Nepali Paubha art. Nepali handicrafts have established a significant position in the international community for their traditional, religious, social, historic and archaeological richness. Nepal Academy of Fine Arts has been conducting significant tasks in regards to conservation, promotion and development of Nepali handicrafts. Active involvement of experienced, skilled and talented artists, along with their devotion and sacrifices, have been rejuvenating Nepali handicrafts and helping establish a unique and superior identity of Nepal in the international community.
A majestic destination blessed by cultural, religious, historic and natural diversities. Nepal is the country of Mount Everest and the birthplace of Lord Gautama Buddha. Karnali is synonymous to Nepal. One can experience the diversity of Nepal by visiting Karnali province. It is a must-go destination for those who want to experience the real Nepal. Karnali, that represents Nepal's age-old civilization, is in itself mesmerizing. The province has immense tourism potential with its unique natural, religious, cultural, archaeological and historic diversity. The famous tourist destinations in the province have played an important role in representing Nepal at the international level. Tourism can be the base for prosperity of Karnali region based on its immense prospects. Lakes, water bodies and famous religious sites are the major attractions for tourists in this province. Rara Lake, Sefoksundu Lake, Bulbule Lake, Chayanath, Dai Lake, Sinja Valley, Humla. This is Rara. Rara is the largest lake in Nepal. The lake is situated at Chayanath Rural Municipality of Mugu District in the Rara National Park. The unique lake is not just known for the different species of rare fishes and the musk ducks, but also for the changing color as per the climatic condition. Many foreign tourists come here to witness the camouflage of this majestic lake. A virgin destination a few years back. Now, more than 50,000 tourists flock the Rara Lake every year, and the number is constantly on the rise. Land and air are the two means to reach Rara Lake. You can reach Rara in a day from Kathmandu by air. From Tribhuvan International Airport, Kathmandu to Nepalganj, and another flight from Nepalganj to Talcher Airport in Mugu is the easiest option. However, from Talcher, it is another 3 hours uphill walk to reach the breathtaking Rara Lake. If you choose land travel, it might take up to 3 days. A day's travel from Kathmandu to Surkhet, an overnight stay. Manma, the district headquarters of Kalikot, from Surkhet, an overnight stay, and on the 3rd day you can reach the Rara Lake. You need not walk if you choose this route for Rara Lake. Humla is a very remote Himalayan district of Nepal bordering Mugu. It has great touristic importance. Many pilgrims who want to go to the mythical Kailas mountain via Mansarovar take the journey via Humla district. Tourists, mainly Indian pilgrims, travel to Mansarovar, one of the largest pure water bodies at the highest altitude in the world, for religious purposes. This is the shortest and the most convenient route for the pilgrims. Most of the pilgrims traveling to Mansarovar choose air trip up to Simikot of Humla from Nepalganj. From Simikot, helicopter trip up to Hilsa, from where they enter Chinese autonomous region of Tibet. One day's drive from entering Tibet, the pilgrims reach Mansarovar. The Kimi Valley of Humla is another new tourist destination in the district. Ancient idols of archaeological importance and the monasteries have given it a new name, the Valley of Monasteries. These priceless statues, sculptures, and artifacts are the major attractions in the valley. Majority of the tourists visiting Karnali are the pilgrims from India. Culturally, the people of the Karnali region believe in multi-deity worship, but majority pay homage to their ancestral deity, the master god. The famous ritual of worshipping 12 master deities has become a popular subject for researchers and tourists alike. Karnali is a majestic land, naturally as well as culturally. It has religious and cultural heritages in abundance. It offers attractions for tourists of varying interests. Somewhat deprived in education, health, and employment. Karnali's tourism potential, due to its unique and diverse nature, geography, religion, culture, history, and archaeology, is unexplored. Many potential tourist destinations have yet to be explored in this region. So far, 101 destinations in the region have been branded as of touristic importance. Of the 101, 13 are under federal government, 9 under province government, and 79 under local levels. Karnali might lack top-class infrastructures, including roadways, hotels, or communications, but many destinations attract adventure tourists. Likewise, medicinal herbs like Yarsagumba, Kali Marsi paddy, millet and barley fields attract tourists when in full bloom. Some of the best organic dishes on offer you might find Kali Marsi paddy, honey, broad beans, dry apple, marfa, barley, sipped wool products as the gifts of Karnali. Whitewater rafting in the fifth best river in the world, Karnali, and very tall and majestic Kanjirova, Patarasi and Cisne mountains, open for expedition, challenge mountaineers and explorers alike. Karnali is also known as the origin of civilizations, including language, literature, art, and culture. It's a pure and revered land. It has a lot to offer to researchers and explorers. Surkhet, the provincial headquarters of Karnali, is the gateway to most of the tourist destinations. Karnali Highway connects some of the destinations, including Kotgadi, Panchadeval, Bilaspur, Mahabu area in Delhi. Pachal waterfall in Kalikot, Sinja Valley and the Dul monastery of Jumla, and Rara Lake of Mugu. Very few destinations of Mugu and Jumla have road access. On the other hand, many budget travelers are not encouraged to traveling in Karnali, as it is relatively expensive due to unavailability of road network. It is a must-go destination for those who want to experience the real Nepal.
A B-52 bomber crashed shortly after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base in California, prompting an immediate emergency response from base personnel. The U.S. Air Force confirmed that the aircraft went down at around 11:20 a.m. local time and said the situation remained under investigation as more details were awaited. Plumes of smoke were later seen rising from the site, with footage captured by a webcam operated by Alert California at UC San Diego, located around 40 kilometers from the base. Authorities said further information would be released as it became available. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi toured an international art exhibition at the Presidential Palace in Bratislava during his visit to Slovakia. The exhibition was organized in cooperation with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations and aimed to promote cultural dialogue through visual art, while highlighting the spiritual heritage of Varanasi, one of the world's oldest living cities. As part of the project, 5 Slovak artists took part in a residency program in Varanasi from 2nd of June to 9, where they explored the city's daily life, historic landmarks and spiritual traditions. The initiative sought to strengthen cultural ties between India and Slovakia by encouraging artistic exchange and creative interpretation. The Bank of Japan raised its benchmark interest rate to a 31-year high of 1%, marking its first hike since December, as it responded to rising inflation pressures linked to global energy shocks. The central bank said higher crude oil prices had pushed up inflation risks despite government subsidies and warned that price pressures could spread further into consumer goods. Officials indicated that further rate increases remained possible while continuing to monitor global developments, including the impact of Middle East conflict on Japan's economy and prices. The decision followed global tightening trends as markets reacted to shifting energy supplies and expectations of continued inflationary pressure. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced a ban on social media use for children under the age of 16, citing concerns over online safety and mental well-being. The ban will cover major platforms including TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, X and YouTube, although messaging services such as WhatsApp will remain exempt. Officials said the move was aimed at protecting children from harmful and addictive online content, with enforcement measures and additional rules expected in the coming months. While some welcomed the decision as a step toward stronger child protection online, critics warned it could push young users toward less regulated digital spaces.
And so I think most parents will welcome this action. I think they will welcome a clear and decisive choice. And they will welcome a government that stands by them, that supports them to do the best for their children, and that fights for their happiness and safety against the most powerful companies in the world. Because this could be a fight, and to this point it has been a fight. Now, it doesn't have to be.
Palestinian students in occupied Jerusalem received certificates, marking their first achievements in learning the Turkish language. The ceremony highlighted growing interest in Turkish, which students described as a symbol of shared history, cultural ties, and enduring brotherhood. Speaking at the event, students expressed admiration for Turkey and their enthusiasm for continuing their language studies. Officials from the Yunus Emre Turkish Cultural Center in Jerusalem emphasized the strong cultural and historical connections between Palestinians and Turkey. The 6th Asian Festival was successfully held in Sofia, Bulgaria, bringing together countries from across Asia under the theme Together for Unity. Mongolia attracted significant attention by showcasing its rich culture, history, traditional crafts, and cuisine. Visitors to the Mongolian pavilion enjoyed homemade dumplings and steamed buns while exploring displays of wool products, silk scarves, leather handicrafts, and cultural souvenirs. A key highlight was the exhibition of the Secret History of the Mongols in Bulgarian, which was published to mark the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Bulgaria. Guests also received their names written in traditional Mongolian script as personalized calligraphy souvenirs. More than 10 Asian countries participated in the festival, which attracted thousands of visitors and served as a vibrant platform for strengthening friendship, cultural exchange, and mutual understanding between Bulgaria and Asian nations. A fruit shop owner in Betong district of Thailand's Yala province launched a 90-minute all-you-can-eat durian buffet, attracting large numbers of Thai and Malaysian tourists. The initiative was introduced to boost tourism, support the local economy, and help farmers amid concerns over rising durian prices. Visitors paid 400 baht for unlimited durian, with a buffet featuring popular varieties including Betong local durian, Musang King and Blackthorn, alongside other local fruits. On its opening day, the shop prepared more than 1,500 kilograms of durian to meet strong demand and offered fruits at different stages of ripeness to suit customers' preferences. Tourists praised the buffet for its quality and value, while the event also helped promote Beitong's renowned durian and contributed to the region's tourism and economic recovery. Hanoi People's Council approved a policy to waive bus fares within Ring Road 1 starting July 1, 2026, as part of efforts to support residents under the city's low-emission zone roadmap. Under the resolution, passengers traveling within Ring Road 1 will use public buses free of charge. During national holidays, Tet, and major socio-political events, free bus and urban rail services will also be offered across the city until the end of 2030. City authorities said the policy aimed to support groups affected by restrictions on fossil fuel-powered vehicles under national and local environmental directives. The policy will not apply to buses serving tourism businesses. Vietnam's musical theatre scene showed signs of transformation with the launch of the country's first private company dedicated solely to musical theatre, reflecting rising audience interest. Through productions like The Tortoise and The Hare, students were trained in singing, acting, movement, expression, and teamwork, guided by multiple instructors to ensure professional development. Parents and trainees said the program offered a structured, creative environment that combined performance skills with storytelling and artistic expression. Industry figures said efforts were underway to develop original Vietnamese musicals with a distinct cultural identity, while also building a professional ecosystem to support the country's growing cultural industries. Thousands of acres of sunflower fields in Osmaniye created a spectacular display as they bloomed across the province in mid-June. The vibrant yellow and green landscapes transformed fertile farmland into postcard-like scenery, attracting nature lovers and photographers from across the region. Captured from both the air and the ground, the blooming fields offered breathtaking views. The oilseed sunflowers, which had been planted in April, reached their flowering stage and covered vast areas with bright blossoms. Throughout the day, the flowers turned toward the sun, adding to the striking natural spectacle. With the first light of day, many visitors headed to the fields to admire the scenery and capture memorable photographs of Osmaniye's seasonal beauty. Burrowing betongs were released back into the New South Wales outback for the first time in decades, marking a significant milestone in efforts to restore Australia's native wildlife. The football-sized marsupials, which had disappeared from mainland Australia due to introduced predators such as cats and foxes, were reintroduced after 2 years of breeding within protected areas in Sturt National Park. The animals were released into a specially managed wild training zone with low numbers of feral predators, while conservation teams hoped they would develop survival skills before expanding into the wider landscape. Ecologists said the betongs play a vital role in the ecosystem by turning over soil and dispersing seeds, and they will continue to be closely monitored to ensure they survive and successfully breed in the wild. Rare wild cattle were newly confirmed at Ea So Nature Reserve in Vietnam's Dak Lak province, marking only the second location in the country where both gaur and benteng were documented together. The discovery was made by conservation teams using infrared drones and camera traps in key wildlife habitats identified as potential ranges for the species. Experts said gaur are classified as endangered, while benteng are considered critically endangered and are currently found only in Dak Lak province. The finding provided valuable scientific evidence to support future conservation efforts aimed at restoring wildlife populations and protecting the unique forest ecosystem of Vietnam's Central Highlands. A rare all-white baby monkey has been attracting visitors to a zoo in Shizuoka Prefecture, west of Tokyo, due to its unusual appearance. The infant was born last month at Hamamatsu Zoological Garden to Abyssinian colobus monkeys, a species known for its black and white fur. Zookeepers said newborns are typically white and develop their adult coloration within about 3 months. Officials confirmed the baby monkey was healthy, though its sex has not yet been determined. Visitors described the animal as small and cute, while zoo staff encouraged the public to visit soon to see the rare stage before its appearance changes. Around 70 colorfully decorated horses paraded through northeastern Japan to mark the start of early summer during the traditional Chago Umako festival. The event, held in Iwate Prefecture after the rice planting season, honored horses for their role in agriculture and prayed for their health and well-being. Dressed in ornate saddles and bells, the horses traveled a 14-kilometer route from Takizawa City to Morioka Hachimangu Shrine, carrying children along the way. Spectators described the procession as powerful and heartwarming, saying the sound of hooves and bells created a memorable seasonal celebration. Centuries-old weaving traditions continued in Turkey's Buldan district, a historic textile hub known for its craftsmanship spanning more than 2,500 years. The district, regarded as the heart of Turkish weaving, has preserved techniques passed down through generations, with master weavers still operating traditional hand looms to produce handmade fabrics. Historians trace Buldan's weaving heritage back to the 6th century BC, making it one of the country's oldest textile centers. Alongside its traditional craft, the district has also developed modern textile factories that export products worldwide, supporting both the local economy and Turkey's textile industry.
Hello and welcome to The Perspective on NTV World. I'm Sapika Shrestha, your host for the program. From major headlines to the issues behind them, we break down the week's top stories and explore how they are shaping the path forward. Some of the major issues hogging limelight last week include Prime Minister Balendra Shah's cabinet expansion, the high-profile visit of Nepal's Foreign Minister Sasir Khanal's India and China visit, post-budget discussion in Nepal, upcoming monsoon season and the impact of El Nino, and the unseasonal Indian tourist boom in Pokhara. But in this episode, we try to dig deeper into Nepal government's perennial problem of public arrears. The piling up arrears has crossed 755 billion rupees according to Auditor General's last annual report. While the development expenditure remains lackluster across government entities, the current expenditure also remains unmanaged due to years of piled up arrears. The Public Accounts Committee under Nepal's House of Representatives has called for a stronger policy and legal reforms to curb tax evasion in the country. The committee made the call during a meeting where lawmakers and officials discussed ongoing challenges in revenue collection. Committee Chair Bharat Bahadur Kharka said there should be no compromise in recovering evaded taxes and indicated that legal action could be taken where necessary. Officials from various ministries briefed the committee on their plans to reduce tax leakage and improve compliance. The discussion also saw lawmakers raising concerns over recent debates on tax rate changes and the finance minister's earlier clarifications. Similarly, lawmakers in Nepal have intensified calls for stricter action against tax evasion, with the Public Accounts Committee urging both policy and legal reforms. The committee meeting held at Singadarbar in Kathmandu focused on rising concerns over tax evasion and revenue collection. Committee Chair Bharat Bahadur Kharka stressed that recovering unpaid taxes must remain a priority and said legal measures could be used where necessary.
अब यो बेरोजगारलाई कथा नबनाऊ, इतिहास नबनाऊ, यो जटिल प्रकृतिका लाई पनि नियमित गर्नुपर्ने कुरालाई प्रक्रियागत रूपमा नियमित गरौँ, असुल उपर गर्नुपर्ने कुरामा पनि खुट्टा नकमाऊ.
However, the meeting also saw political debate, with lawmakers questioning recent discussions around changes in tax rates and the finance minister's explanations to Parliament.
यसरी चाहिँ एउटा व्यक्तिलाई मात्रै पछि लखटिरहने कर्म चाहिँ उहाँले व्यक्तिगत रूपमा गरेको स्वर्णिम वाग्लेले तिर्न बाँकी, लिन बाँकी, दिन बाँकी उहाँको व्यक्तिगत कर्म हो भने त्यो व्यक्तिगत ढङ्गबाट जाउँ, होइन एउटा संरचनाले गरेको कामलाई जसरी चाहिँ सफलहरू भइरहेको छ यसलाई रेकर्डबाट हटाउने भन्ने धपाउने भन्ने यसो हुँदैन स्वाभाविक.
The committee is expected to continue discussions in the coming days as pressure mounts for stronger enforcement and clearer tax policy reforms. Parliament's Public Accounts Committee tried to dig into one of the major problems of government expenditure in Nepal. The arrears that keep piling up every year have crossed over 755 billion Nepali rupees, according to a recent report, while stakeholders concerned have suggested reforms in legal and policy frameworks. As new government advocated fiscal discipline, the piling arrears are more than just numbers. They are a test of governance, accountability, and the country's commitment to financial integrity. Here's a report.
The Auditor General's 63rd annual report has revealed that public arrears have surged to more than 750 billion rupees, which is around $4.93 billion, exposing systemic weaknesses in financial discipline across all tiers of government. The report, based on audits of over 5,500 public entities during fiscal year 2025-26, paints a troubling picture. Out of transactions worth nearly 9.5 trillion rupees, irregularities amounting to 88.09 billion rupees were detected in the last fiscal year alone. Federal government offices alone account for more than 53 billion rupees in arrears, while provincial governments add over 5 billion, local levels contribute 19 billion, and committees and other institutions are responsible for more than 10 billion. Although 66 billion rupees in older arrears were settled or adjusted, the cumulative figure now stands at a staggering 7.55 trillion rupees when past and present irregularities are combined. The Auditor General has also warned that audits worth nearly 148 billion rupees could not be completed, largely due to missing records and disruptions during political unrest. This gap raises serious concerns about transparency and the ability to verify government transactions. The report points to repeated irregularities in procurement, land management, and budgetary spending, as well as poor coordination between federal, provincial, and local offices. Institutions have failed to submit documents on time, and internal monitoring remains weak. In its recommendations, the Auditor General has called for stricter enforcement of financial laws, timely submission of records, and improved internal audits to detect irregularities early. The report emphasizes the need for capacity building at provincial and local levels to strengthen financial management and urges swift recovery of arrears through legal and administrative measures. Without discipline and transparency, the report warns public trust in Nepal's financial system will continue to erode.
For further insight, here are excerpts from our interview with Auditor General Toyam Raya.
यो वर्ष हामीले 63 प्रतिवेदन पेश गरिरहँदा त्यतिखेरको बेरोजु चाहिँ 755 हो। त्यो बेरोजु भनेको संघीय सरकारको मात्रै होइन, संघीय सरकार, प्रदेश सरकार र स्थानीय सरकारको। निश्चय नै बेरोजु भन्ने विषय कस्तो विषय हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब बेरोजुको भन्दाखेरि ऐन कानुन अनुसारको खर्च भएन। खर्च नहुनुपर्ने ठाउँमा खर्च भयो अथवा सम्बन्धित निकायले गरेको खर्चमा अडिट गर्ने एजेन्सीले उठाएको प्रश्न हो। त्यसकारणले ती प्रश्नहरू उठ्ने बित्तिकै हल्नु पर्थ्यो। तर हामी कहाँमा चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि के लामो समयदेखि करिब हामी हेऱ्यौँ भने 61-62 सालदेखिको बेरोजगार हामीसँग छ। त्यो सबै मिलाएर 755 अरब हो। कस्तो हुनुपर्छ त अहिले असर गर्छ कि गर्दैन? त्यसमध्ये कतिपय पैसाहरू चाहिँ असुल गर्नुपर्ने पैसाहरू छन्। असुल हुनुपर्ने भनेर हामीले लेखेका चाहिँ बेरोजगारहरू छन्। असुल हुनुपर्ने पैसा समयमा असुल हो भने त्यसले भ्यालु फर मनीको कुरा आउँछ। हामी तुरुन्तै अर्को ठाउँमा खर्च गर्न सक्छौँ। र कतिपय बेरोजु कस्ता हुन्छन् पेस्की बेरोजु भने हुन्छौँ। ती पेस्की बेरोजु चाहिँ त्यो सम्बन्धित जसले के खर्च गराउने हो त्यसले चाहिँ यो समयभित्र खर्च गर्ने भनेर चाहिँ पेस्की दिएको हुन्छ। त्यो समयभित्र चाहिँ खर्च भएन फर्सेट भएन भने त्यो बाँकी रहने विषय बेरोजु हो। र अर्को बेरोजु चाहिँ अनियमित भन्ने हुन्छ। अनियमित बेरोजु कस्तो हो भनेदेखि चाहिँ खर्च भयो तर ऐन कानुनको परिपालना भएन, एउटा विषय त्यो छ। अर्को कुरा चाहिँ कुनै कागज प्रमाण चाहिँ त्यहाँ राखिएन। जुन कागज प्रमाण राख्नु पर्थ्यो जसले खर्चलाई पुष्टि गर्थ्यो नराखिएको कारणले भएको बेरोजु हो। त्यो सबै गरेर चाहिँ 755 अरब हो। तीनटै तहको सरकारको। अब यो घटाउनुपर्छ। तर यो हामी के बुझिराखेका छौँ भने सबै चाहिँ उठ्ने पैसा हो, सबै चाहिँ उठ्नुपर्छ भन्ने होइन। कतिपय चाहिँ ऐन कानुनको परिधिभित्र रहेर नभएका खर्चहरू हुन्। यसलाई के भनेदेखि चाहिँ हल गर्नेतिर अथवा यसलाई के भन्दा न्यूनीकरण गर्नेतिर जानुपर्छ। नीतिगत अस्पष्टताको कारणले पनि बेरोजु भएको छ। जस्तो अब अहिले हामी कहाँ 3 तहको सरकार छ। सङ्घीय सरकार, प्रदेश सरकार र स्थानीय तह र सबैलाई ऐन बनाउने अधिकार छ। कहिलेकाहीँ ऐन बनाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ एकअर्काको ऐनहरू बाजिन्छन्। त्यो बाजीको हकमा चाहिँ त्यो अस्पष्टता भएको कारणले गर्दा पनि बेरोजु भए। कतिपय चाहिँ समयमा बन्नुपर्ने ऐन कानुन बनेनन्, नबनेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि पनि ती काम चाहिँ हुन सकेनन् जुन चाहिँ गर्नै पर्थ्यो। एकातिर संविधानले त्यो काम गर्नुपर्छ भनेर निर्दिष्ट गर्यो, अर्कोतिर त्यसको लागि ऐन भएन। त्यो कारणले पनि के भने बेरोजु भए। र अर्को विषय चाहिँ जब हामीले बेरोजु भनेर कुनै विषय उठाइसकेपछि त्यो बेरोजुका विषयहरू चाहिँ त्यही वर्षभित्र फर्सेट भइसक्नु पर्थ्यो। छलफल हुनु पर्थ्यो, टुङ्ग्याइनु पर्थ्यो। र तर के भने समयमा टुङ्गो लागेन। कतिपय अवस्थामा चाहिँ सार्वजनिक लेखा समिति अथवा संसद नरहेको अवस्था रह्यो। र कतिपय अवस्थामा चाहिँ सम्बन्धित लेखा उत्तरदायित्वहरूले चाहिँ टुङ्ग्याउनु पर्ने विषय उहाँहरूले टुङ्ग्याउन लाग्नु सक्नु भएन। त्यो कारणले बाँकी रहे। र नटुङ्गिकन फेरि त्यस्ता काम हामीले भइराख्यौँ। र कतिपय चाहिँ बेरोजुको प्रकृति हेर्नुहुन्छ भने एउटै प्रकृतिको बेरोजु पनि हरेक 5-7 वर्षदेखि त्यही प्रकृतिको बेरोजु छ। त्यो सुरुको वर्षमा टुङ्गिएको भए अथवा त्यो इस्युलाई टुङ्ग्याउन सकेको भए अर्को वर्षमा बेरोजु आउँदैन थियो। त्यो कारणले पनि भएको छ। त्यसकारणले बेरोजु कसरी आयो भन्ने विषय चाहिँ यी विषयहरू चाहिँ बढी चाहिँ देखिन्छ। यो कारणले बेरोजु आएको छ। यसले अझ नकारात्मक प्रभाव पऱ्यो कि परेन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले आम नागरिकको बुझाइ चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ 755 अरब रुपियाँ यो देशमा बेरोजु छ। त्यो बेरोजु भनेको चाहिँ व्यथिति हो। त त्यो व्यथिति चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि भयावह स्थिति छ भने देखियो। तर त्यसलाई समयमै एड्रेस गरिदिएको भए ती गर्ने निकायहरूले त्यसको जवाफदेही लिइदिएको भए यो प्रश्न आउँदैन थियो। त्यस कारणले गर्दा अब के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि सकेसम्म छिटो चाँडो सम्बन्धित लेखा उत्तरदायित्व अथवा संसदको लेखा समितिले चाहिँ यो विषय टुङ्ग्याउनुपर्छ। र सँगसँगै महालेखा परीक्षकको कार्यालयले पनि आफ्नो अडिट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यसलाई व्यवस्थित गर्नुपर्छ। र त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ टुङ्गो लागेर आइसकेका विषयहरू चाहिँ यहाँबाट समयमै सेटल गर्नुपर्छ। र हामीले के गरेका छौँ गत वर्षदेखि भने जति सेटल भएर आएका विषयहरू हो हामी चाहिँ त्यो आर्थिक वर्षभित्र टुङ्ग्याउँछौँ। जस्तो अहिले पनि भर्खरै मैले चाहिँ अस्ति वैशाखको 31 गते चाहिँ वार्षिक प्रतिवेदन तयार गरेर जेठको 1 गते सम्बन्धित राष्ट्रिय विज्यूमा पेश गरेँ। त्यो पेश गरिरहँदाखेरि त्यो समयसम्म जति सेटल भएर आएका थिए ती सबै विषय टुङ्ग्याइएका छन्। त्योभन्दा पछाडि आएका विषयहरू पनि असार मसान्तसम्म जति आउँछन् हामी असार मसान्तका दिन त्यो पनि हामी जिरोबाट टुङ्ग्याउँछौँ। त्यसैले हामी त्यो टुङ्ग्याउने लागिरहेका छौँ। यसै गरी सम्बन्धित सचिवहरू र सम्बन्धित कार्यालय प्रमुखहरू पनि यसमा लाग्नुपर्ने मैले देखेको छु। जति विषयमा बेरोजुहरू छन् त्यो बेरोजु भएका विषयहरूमध्ये जुन विषयमा सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालयका सचिव अथवा कार्यालय प्रमुखहरू चाहिँ त्यो विषय स्वीकार्नु भएको छ। उहाँहरूले स्वीकारेका विषयहरू उहाँहरूले तुरुन्तै त्यसको समाधान गर्नु पर्यो। जुन विषय उहाँहरूको भनाइ चाहिँ होइन यो बेरोजु नहुनुपर्ने विषय छ भन्ने उहाँहरूलाई लाग्छ भने चाहिँ सार्वजनिक लेखा समितिमा उहाँहरूले यो कारणले विषय बेरोजु चाहिँ नहुनु पर्ने थियो भनेर उहाँहरूले प्रतिवेदन त्यहाँ गर्ने। त्यो गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ अब सार्वजनिक लेखा समितिले के गर्छ भनेदेखि हरेक मन्त्रालयको छुट्टा उपसमितिहरू बनाएर छलफल गर्छ। त्यो छलफल गराइरहँदाखेरि चाहिँ अनि हाम्रो यहाँ महालेखा परीक्षकको प्रतिनिधि पनि त्यहाँ हुन्छ, सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालयको सचिव लगायतका त्योसँग सम्बद्ध पदाधिकारी त्यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ। त्यहाँ र अनि सार्वजनिक लेखा समिति का मान्य सदस्यहरू बसेर त्यो विषय टुङ्ग्याउनुपर्छ। त्यो विषय त्यहाँ टुङ्गो लागिसकेपछि त्यो के हुन्छ भन्दा जुन टुङ्ग्याइन्छ त्यो टुङ्ग्याएको प्रतिवेदन चाहिँ प्रतिनिधि सभामा पेश हुन्छ। प्रतिनिधि सभाबाट पास भइसकेपछि जे निर्णय हुन्छन् त्यो निर्णय कार्यान्वयन गर्नुपर्छ र त्यसको कार्यान्वयन गर्ने अवधि पनि तोकिया छ। त्यो 1 महिनाभित्र गर्नुपर्छ। 1 महिनाभित्रमा चाहिँ के हो भने त्यो संसदबाट त्यो पास भइसकेपछि सार्वजनिक लेखा समितिबाट सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालयमा चाहिँ यो टुङ्ग्याउनु भनेर चाहिँ पठाइन्छ। पठाइसकेपछि 20 दिनभित्र उहाँले टुङ्ग्याउनुपर्छ र 20 दिनमा उहाँले टुङ्ग्याइसकेपछि त्यो विषय हामी कहाँ आउनुपर्छ र महालेखा परीक्षकको कार्यालयमा आइसकेपछि 10 दिनभित्र महालेखा परीक्षकको कार्यालय त्यो विषय टुङ्ग्याउनुपर्छ। भनेको के हो त भन्दाखेरि छलफल भए जुन विषय सहमति छ, सहमति भएको विषय तुरुन्तै टुङ्ग्याइहाल्नु पर्यो। असहमत भएको विषय छलफल गर्नुपर्ने विषय पनि लेखा समितिमा छलफल तुरुन्तै गर्ने र तुरुन्तै गरिसकेपछि त्यहाँको निर्णय आइसकेपछि 1 महिनाभित्र टुङ्ग्याउन सकियो भने अर्को वर्ष यहाँले यही प्रश्न सोध्नुपर्ने छैन र हामीले खोजेको वित्तीय सुशासन, वित्तीय अनुशासन भनेको पनि त्यही विषय हो। खालि हामीले चाहिँ टोटल अङ्क मात्रै हेरिरहेका छौँ। गत वर्ष 733 अरबको बेरोजगारी थियो, बाँकी थियो। यो वर्ष 88 अरब बेरोजगारी थपिएको। त्यति थपिएपछि 755 अरब हुने त होइन। तर त्यही बिचमा के भएको छ त भन्दाखेरि करिब 63 अरब रुपियाँ चाहिँ सम्पर्शन भएको छ। त्यो टुङ्गो लागेको छ। त्यो हामीले त्यो हाम्रो प्रतिवेदनमा लेखेका छौँ। तर भइदियो के भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जति विषय टुङ्गो लाग्यो त्योभन्दा बढी बेरोजगारी थपियो। अब अर्को वर्षदेखि हुनु पर्यो के त भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ 80 अरब चाहिँ बेरोजगारी आयो भने 200 अरबले फर्सेट हुनु पर्यो अथवा 400 अरबले फर्सेट हुनु पर्यो। त्यो मात्रै नभएको हो। र फेरि यो किन यसरी बढेर गयो भन्दाखेरि विगतमा चाहिँ सार्वजनिक लेखा समितिबाट परिपत्र भएको थियो र परिपत्र हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ महालेखा परीक्षक सम्बन्धित चाहिँ लेखा उत्तरदायित्वहरूले यो विषय टुङ्गो नलगाउने, यो चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि लेखा समिति छलफल हुन्छ भनेर चाहिँ परिपत्र भयो। त्यो परिपत्र भइसकेपछि 2 वर्षसम्म चाहिँ सम्परीक्षणको काम बन्द भयो। त्यो कारणले चाहिँ यो अलिकति बढेको हो र गत वर्षदेखि चाहिँ यो चाहिँ खुल्यो। फेरि चाहिँ यो चाहिँ एचआरटी रूपमा चाहिँ पहिले जुन प्रक्रिया थियो सम्बन्धित सचिवहरूले चाहिँ बेरोजगारी फर्सेट गर्ने, फर्सेट गरेपछि त्यो फर्सेट गरेको विषय चाहिँ महालेखा परीक्षकको कार्यालय पठाउने र महालेखा परीक्षकले त्यो फर्सेट गरेको विषय ठिक छ भन्ने लाग्यो भने त्यो सम्परीक्षण गर्ने, रिचेक गरेर ओके भनेर पठाउने भन्ने विषय थियो। त्यो अन्तर्गत यो वर्षपछि हामीले चाहिँ करिब 63 अरब रुपियाँ चाहिँ फर्सेट गरेका छौँ। त्यस कारणले नभएको चाहिँ होइन। तर छिटो गरेर के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अघि मैले भनिहालेँ जुन विषयमा चाहिँ सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालय र मन्त्रालयका लेखा उत्तरदायित्वहरू चाहिँ कन्भिन्स हुनुहुन्छ यो महालेखा परीक्षकको कार्यालयले लेखेको ठिक छ भन्ने विषय उहाँहरूलाई लाग्छ त्यो विषय तुरुन्तै टुङ्ग्याउनु पर्यो। किनभने 2060-61 सालदेखिको चाहिँ बेरोजगारी चाहिँ अब अझै नटुङ्ग्याउनु त कुरा भएन होला। त्यो टुङ्ग्याउनु पर्यो र जुन विषयमा चाहिँ उहाँहरू यो नहुनुपर्ने भन्ने थियो त्यो चाहिँ त्रिपक्षीय अघि मैले भनिहालेँ सार्वजनिक लेखा समिति, सम्बन्धित कार्यालय र महालेखा परीक्षकको कार्यालयका प्रतिनिधि बसेर छलफल गरेर टुङ्ग्याउनुपर्छ। त्यो गर्न सकियो। त्यो गरियो भने के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि यहाँले यो बेरोजगारी बढ्यो अथवा बेरोजगारीको कारणले चाहिँ यस्तो समस्या भयो, आर्थिक अनुशासन भएन भन्ने चाहिँ प्रश्न रहिरहँदैन। अब गर्नुपर्ने चाहिँ विषय के हो? यही विषय चाहिँ अब गर्नुपर्छ। अब आउने आर्थिक वर्षमा यो मलाई लाग्छ के भने अहिले मैले अस्ति सार्वजनिक लेखा समितिसँग कुरा गरेका थिएँ, त्यसै गरी सार्वजनिक लेखा समिति सभापतिज्यूसँग कुरा गरेका थिएँ, सामान्य के भनेदेखि चाहिँ सभामुखसँग कुरा गरेका छु। उहाँहरू पनि यो विषय यसलाई एकदम तदारकसँग गर्नुपर्छ। जुन असुल गर्नुपर्ने असुल गर्नु नै पर्छ। जुन विषय जसरी टुङ्ग्याउनु पर्ने हो कानुनले अथवा हाम्रो वित्तीय उत्तरदायित्व ऐनले जसरी भनेको छ त्यो हिसाब टुङ्ग्याउनुपर्छ भनेको उहाँहरू पनि लागिरहनु भएको छ। मलाई लाग्छ अर्को वर्ष चाहिँ यो विषयमा धेरै सुधार हुन्छ। मैले चाहिँ गरेको चाहिँ अडिट भनेको चाहिँ अब 81-82को सम्मको अडिट हो। यो भनेको चाहिँ 82 सालको असार मसान्तसम्मको भनेको हामीले 1 वर्ष अगाडि अघिल्लो असार मसान्तसम्मको टुङ्ग्याएको हो। अब ऐन कानुन बनेका भर्खर हुन्। अब यसले गर्दा पनि कतिपय चाहिँ बेरोजगारको कुरा चाहिँ बिस्तारै गर्छ। अब त्यो चेन्ज भएको विषय चाहिँ अब लागु हुने विषयमा हो। अब अघिल्ला विषयहरूको विषयमा चाहिँ त्यतिखेरकै कानुनअनुसार फर्सेट गर्नुपर्छ र प्रक्रिया के हो भन्दाखेरि प्रक्रिया अघि मैले जे भने त्यही प्रक्रिया हो।
That was Auditor General Toem Roy explaining more on the issue. This concludes episode of The Perspective for this week. We will be back next week with major updates. Thank you for joining us and stay tuned to NTV World.
The country wakes up with the first touch of sunlight kissing the Antudara in eastern Nepal. Antudara in Ilam district is the pride of
Kosi province.
Nepal's eastern
Kosi province
spreads across 26,000 square kilometers and has 14 districts. Taplejung, Pastar, Ilam, Jhapa, Sangkhwasava, Terathum, Dhankuta, Morang, Sunsari, Solukhumbu, Bhojpur, Udaipur, Khotang and Okhaldunga make
Kosi province.
Though the province is an ethnic mix, the predominant inhabitants are Brahmin, Kshetri, Tamang, Sherpa, Rai and Limbu.
Kosi province,
with the capital Biratnagar, is geographically very diverse. The province boasts the highest peak in the world, Mount Everest, to the lowest land in the country, Kechana Kabul. The local lifestyle and landscape of Namche Bazaar, the gateway to Mount Everest, Lukla Bazaar and Everest Base Camp are incredible. Over 24 mountain peaks above 7,000 meters, including the Kanchenjunga, Makalu, Varun, Lhotse, Choyu, Tuplase, in addition to the Mount Everest, make the roof of the province. The potential of tourism in the province is also as high as the Mount Everest. Country's largest Saptakosi, along with Mechi, Arun, Tamor, Kankai, Likhu are the major rivers in the province. These rivers are the lifeline of the people since time immemorial. Recently started motorboat on the Koshi River is opening doors for tourism while easing the life of the locals at the same time. Situated at just 70 meters above the sea level, Kechana Kabul in Jhapa is the lowest point in the country. This place of national importance needs more promotion, and expectedly some programs are being undertaken. The world-renowned Kosi Tappu Wildlife Reserve, Sagarmatha National Park, Makalu Varun National Park and Kanchenjunga Conservation Area are some of the major attractions in
Kosi province.
These protected and conserved areas serve as the museum for those interested in wildlife, flora and fauna, wetlands and biodiversity. The number of people thronging Antudara in Ilam around the calendar to watch the sunrise is increasing by the day. The symmetrical tea gardens of Kanyam cannot be described in words. Prosperity along with natural beauty is the speciality of the province. No foreign or domestic tourist returns disappointed from this place. Mai Pokhari and Sandakpur in Ilam are some of the other destinations for tourists. Sandakpur is probably the only place in Asia from where one can enjoy the panoramic view of around 60 mountain peaks. Ilam also is famous for its organic produces, including allo or the giant nettle, milk, broomgrass, red hot chili, and cardamom. The hill station or Bedetar along the border of Sunsari and Dhankuta, Namaste waterfall in Dhankuta, Hile Bazaar, and Todke waterfall are some of the other destinations for tourists. The 90 feet tall Namaste waterfall, just 10 kilometers away from Bedetar, is attracting many tourists of late. TMZ or Tinjure, Milne and Jaljala area in Therathum is branded as the capital of rhododendron. The area boasts 28 species of the national flower. This area also generates interest among explorers and researchers. The 365-meter tall Hathung waterfall is the tallest in Asia and the pride of Nepal. Kosi province is ahead in terms of infrastructures and facilities. Standard hotels are found in almost all places in this province. The province has 11 domestic airports. Most of the destinations are accessible and connected by highways and roads. The Pathivara temple, situated at 3,794 meters above the sea level, is the combination of spirituality, natural beauty, and tourism. This is one destination in every Nepali's bucket list. The blooming rhododendrons in the spring and snow-white terrain in winter keep the tourism interest alive around the year. There are many other similar religious sites in Kosi province, Halesi Mahadev temple and the Basaha cave of Khotan. Buddha Subba temple in Dharan of Sunsari. Barha Kshetra of Sunsari. Mini Pathivara of Vilam. Arjundhara of Jhapa of the Mahabharata myth. The Taksar Bazaar of Bhojpur is another destination not to be forgotten in the list of tourism destinations in the province. History dates the first minted Nepali coins in this place. Those copper coins are still found in Taksar. The small hamlet is a perfect destination to see the Eastern Nepali lifestyle. Kosi province is equally rich in its unique culture and traditions. In addition to the major festivals celebrated by the Brahmins and the Chetris, different ethnic groups like Tamangs, Sherpas and Magars rejoice in Losar. The Shabru dance of the Sherpas, a special ritual in Losar, is internationally renowned. The Udoli and Uvoli of the Rise and the Dhan dance have their own religious and scientific importance. The Tarai Plain of Province 1 is the breadbasket of Nepal. The fertile soil is perfect for agriculture. Tea gardens from the lowland of Japa to the height of Solukhumbu are some of the major cash crops here. These tea gardens also attract numerous tourists in the region. Province 1 is definitely a museum for tourism. The natural beauty, religious heritages, abundance of natural resources, cultural diversity, and many more. Each and every hamlet and settlement, hills and mountains, rivers and ravines in the province have their own unique identity and speciality.
Pashupatinath is located in the eastern part of Kantipur city, approximately 5 kilometers away from Bagmati River. During the Lichavi period, the area surrounding Pashupatinath was known for animal rearing. This region includes Duasthali, Guveshwari, Gaurighat, Chaba Hill, Ganeshtan, and Kutuwali, all of which are part of the Pashupatinath area. In 1979 AD, UNESCO designated Pashupatinath as a World Heritage Site. The blessings of Pashupatinath have been revered since ancient times, indicating the site's significance long before the Lichavi dynasty. The presence of Jyotirlinga, a sacred representation of Lord Shiva, is mentioned in one of the ancient texts, highlighting its historical and religious importance. In the Gopal Raj dynasty, King Supuspadev described Pashupatinath as Varna Vyavastha. Following Supuspadev, every subsequent king incorporated the name of Pashupatinath within their own names. King Vaskar Dev offered 3 kosh to Pashupatinath, Brishdev presented a Trishul, Dharmadev contributed a Brishjos, and Narendra Dev offered various kosh made from different materials. Finally, Jayadev offered a lotus to Pasupatinath. In 1473 BS, Jyoti Malla renovated Pashupatinath. The priest Nityananda initiated the removal of the 3-story structure of Pashupatinath and reduced it to a single story. Queen Ganga, the consort of Shiva Singh, had the Bhasa Bamsawali written, which is still present today. During the Malla dynasty, the offerings made by the kings to Pashupatinath can still be seen today. Among these offerings, Lord Shiva at Pashupatinath received a copper roof and chadi and kamal. Finally, King Jai Singh presented a gold-made mekhla and a grand jatra was conducted. The temple's extraordinary design is attributed to the cumulative contributions of successive kings, each leaving their mark by adding distinctive elements to its architecture. This rich history of royal patronage is a primary factor contributing to the exceptional and intricate design of this revered temple.
Discussion on appropriation bill to continue in Nepal's lower house tomorrow as well. Concerned ministers to respond to queries raised by lawmakers. Nepal government brings OTT platform under legal radar, makes registration and permission mandatory. Nepal and China hold high-level talks in Beijing. Both sides pledge of stronger economic and strategic engagement. Iran says ending war in Lebanon most important issue in deal with US. Trump says Iran can never have nuclear weapon. G7 leaders holding meet in France focus mainly on Middle East security, maritime stability and energy routes. And France to meet Senegal in tonight's World Cup clash. Iraq to take on Norway while Argentina to face Algeria. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama Rai and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. The details now. Discussions were held on various ministries and agencies during the discussion on appropriation bill in today's meeting of the House of Representatives. Discussions were held on various headings of the Ministries of Science, Technology and Innovation, Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, Infrastructure Development, Home, Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Foreign Affairs, Finance, Defence and the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, the Secretariat of the National Planning Commission, the Office of the Vice President and that of the President. In the meeting, MPs Nitima Bhandari Karki, Pukar Bam, Ram Lama, Badan Kumar Bhandari, Ankita Thakur, Buddhi Prasad Pant, Dhanendra Karki, Sulabh Kharel and Smriti Century expressed their views on the ministry's specific titles. The meeting also passed a condolence resolution over the death of former member of the House of Representatives, Mangal Prasad Gupta. The House of Representatives will meet again at 11 a.m. tomorrow, where the concerned ministers are scheduled to respond to the questions raised under ministry-specific headings of the appropriation bill. Nepal has amended the National Broadcasting Regulations 2052 BS, bringing over-the-top OTT and digital streaming platforms under formal state regulation for the first time. The Ministry of Information and Communications now requires both domestic and foreign OTT service providers operating in Nepal to obtain official permission and complete registration. The amendment, published in the National Gazette, formally extends the broadcasting regulatory framework to digital platforms. The revised provisions introduce a licensing and fee structure for OTT services. Operating an OTT platform will require a fee of 10 million Nepali rupees. Foreign OTT content downlinking per platform is set at 1 million rupees, while distribution of foreign OTT signals will require 2.5 million. Authorities say the regulatory overhaul is intended to address long-standing legal ambiguity around digital streaming services, improve oversight of content distribution, ensure revenue collection and align OTT platforms with existing broadcasting laws. Nepal's Foreign Minister Sisir Khanal visited India and China in back-to-back trips as part of the RSP government's Neighbours First foreign policy approach. In India, Nepal raised border management issues and called for renewed joint technical work on mapping, river encroachments and boundary pillars. In China, talks focused on border cooperation, trade and connectivity projects, with Nepal reaffirming its balanced diplomatic stance. The government says the strategy prioritizes bilateral technical solutions and confidence-building measures to address long-standing border disputes. We'll look deeper into this in our segment Issue of the Day later in the bulletin. Moving on, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that talks with the US on a final agreement covering Tehran's nuclear program will likely begin on Friday. Araghchi also added that ending the war in Lebanon is the most important issue in the peace deal with the US announced the day before. US President Donald Trump has said as part of the US deal to end the war, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Trump further said his country has no obligation to invest in Iran even after its deal with the Islamic Republic to end the Middle East conflict. G7 leaders convened in Evian, France for a high-level working session with invited Arab leaders focused on security and stability in the Middle East, with particular attention on maritime security and energy routes in the region. The summit follows a newly announced peace agreement between the US and Iran, under which Washington says the Strait of Hormuz will be fully reopened once the deal is formally signed in Switzerland. US President Donald Trump described the agreement as a breakthrough, saying the strategic waterway critical for global oil and gas shipments would be completely open in the coming days. Discussions at the G7 Center on the implications of the agreement, including regional security guarantees, demining operations in the strait, and the potential deployment of multinational maritime monitoring missions led by European partners such as France and the United Kingdom. Now, a series of World Cup group stage matches are set to take place tonight, with several high-profile international teams in action as the battle for qualification intensifies. Former champion France will take on Senegal in the first encounter, while Iraq will face Norway in other fixture. Reigning champion Argentina will play against Algeria in the other encounter. We will take a deeper look at FIFA World Cup 2026 updates in our sports news segment later in the bulletin. Now, we're going for a short break here. You're watching NTV World and this is News Hour. Welcome back. Time now for our issue of the day. Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal, who is on a 4-day official visit to China, has held talks with Wang Huning, chairperson of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, earlier today. According to the Embassy of Nepal in Beijing, the meeting focused on various dimensions of Nepal-China relations and ways to further strengthen bilateral cooperation. The two sides exchanged views on development cooperation, trade, investment, tourism, political exchanges and people-to-people relations. Also today, Minister Khanal visited the historic White Pagoda, a landmark designed by renowned Nepali architect Nico. Khanal later addressed Chinese and international media, outlining Nepal's foreign policy priorities, the agenda of the country's newly formed government and Kathmandu's engagement with the international community. The minister also attended an investment conference organized by the Embassy of Nepal, where he urged Chinese businesses and investors to expand their presence in Nepal. Representatives of the Investment Board Nepal presented opportunities across key sectors and highlighted the government's efforts to create a more business-friendly environment. Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal's ongoing visit to China comes within days of his maiden visit to India. Seen as a calibrated strategy of RSP government to court the both imminent neighbors, this is the first formal diplomatic exchange. If the acknowledgement of both sides, importantly India, on the need of diplomatic dialogues to resolve the border issues is the benefit of the first visit, robust collaboration from the northern neighbor in Nepal's development endeavors can be expected from the ongoing trip.
Prime Minister Balendra Saha-led Rashtriya Swatantra Party (RSP) government has launched a determined diplomatic push to resolve long-standing border issues with its immediate neighbors, prioritizing dialogue and technical cooperation over confrontation. Exchange of high-level visits to the two immediate neighbors is just the beginning. In a clear signal of a neighbors-first approach, Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal completed a focused visit to New Delhi before traveling to Chinese capital Beijing, underscoring Kathmandu's intent to engage both India and China through direct bilateral channels. During talks in India, Nepali officials emphasized the need to reactive joint survey teams, share accurate cartographic data, and establish a practical mechanism for managing riverine encroachment and pillar demarcation. Nepal has repeatedly stressed that border questions are best addressed by experts on the ground rather than through third party. Mediation and recent exchanges sought to translate that principle into concrete working arrangements. Foreign Minister Khanal's subsequent trip to China is a complementary effort to reassure the northern neighbor of Nepal's balanced foreign policy and continued commitment to constructive cooperation. In Beijing, discussions touched on border management, trade facilitation and connectivity projects, with Kathmandu making clear that its outreach to New Delhi does not come at the expense of ties with China. The back-to-back visits are definitely part of a calibrated strategy to reduce tensions through technical mapping and confidence-building measures while simultaneously deepening economic and infrastructural engagement that benefits Nepal's development goals. The government is attempting to navigate a delicate diplomatic terrain by offering transparency, data sharing, and institutionalized bilateral dialogue as tools to prevent misunderstanding from escalating. The emphasis on bilateral, expert-led solution represents a pragmatic shift away from political rhetoric toward problem-solving on the ground. As the government continues to court both neighbors, the success of this neighbors-first policy will depend on sustained political will, timely implementation of joint technical work, and the ability of all parties to translate diplomatic assurance into verifiable, on-the-ground outcomes.
That wraps up our issue of the day. After the break, we examine the newly unveiled provincial budgets for fiscal year 2026-27 and what they reveal about Nepal's fiscal priorities. We'll look at the challenges economists see, from dependence on federal funding to concerns over local relevance and implementation, in our cover story.
You're watching News Hour here on NTV World. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Welcome back. Nepal's all 7 provincial governments have unveiled a combined budget of 292 billion Nepali rupees for the fiscal year 2026-27, meeting the constitutional deadline. However, economists say the budgets remain overly ambitious, heavily dependent on federal funding, and insufficiently aligned with local needs and resources. Bhavana Kesi along with Pawan Barsha brings more.
All 7 provincial governments of Nepal presented their budgets for the upcoming fiscal year 2026-27 on Monday midnight, in line with constitutional provisions requiring budgets to be tabled on Asar 1st of Nepali calendar each year. The combined budget of the 7 provinces stands at 292 billion rupees. Despite meeting the constitutional deadline, economists have raised concerns over the nature of the provincial budgets, describing them as overly ambitious and heavily dependent on the federal government rather than aligned with geographical realities, local resources, and actual needs. Experts also argue that provincial governments have prioritized election-oriented agendas over the needs of local populations.
राजनीतिक रूपमा मेरो चाहिँ पार्टीको जितेको मेरो निर्वाचन क्षेत्रमा फोकस गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरामा उनीहरू बढी केन्द्रित छ र मेरो निर्वाचन क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ बजेट कम पर्यो तपाई किन कम पर्यो भनेर चाहिँ जुन प्रात्यक्षिक योजनाहरुमा बेस नगरिकन आफ्नो खल्तीको योजनाहरु ल्याउने जुन खालको प्रवृत्ति छ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि अहिले बजेट पास गर्नको लागि भने नि यस गरौँ भनेर अब मुख्यमन्त्रीजीहरुले अब त्यहाँको टिमले चाहिँ एउटा सहमति जनाए पनि वास्तवमा कार्यान्वयनको पक्षमा त्यो एकदमै जटिल हुन्छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ.
Similarly, economists point out that provinces remain financially dependent on the federal government, adding that weak implementation has been a recurring problem affecting overall performance of the provincial governments.
केन्द्रमा चाहिँ स्थायी सरकार आए तापनि प्रदेश सरकारमा के छ भन्दाखेरि मिलिजुली या चाहिँ पालो सरकार चलाउने भएको जस्तै बागमती प्रदेशको बजेट एउटाले ल्याउँदैछ र बजेट ल्याइसकेपछि अर्को सरकार आउँदैछ भन्न खोजेको सरकार चलाउने बनाउने गिराउने र त्यो चीजले प्रदेश सरकारहरु ग्रसित छ जसको असर चाहिँ यो बजेटको कार्यान्वयनमा पर्ने देखिन्छ.
For the upcoming fiscal year, provincial governments have prioritized agriculture, tourism, infrastructure development, employment generation, administrative reforms, digital service expansion, and good governance. Some provinces have also introduced localized and innovative programs. Common policy agendas across provinces include salary hike for government employees, reduction in number of ministries, and measures to control administrative expenditure.
And in this context, we asked the general public on how they perceive their province's annual budget. Let's have a look.
यो बजेटले अहिले पनि साना र टुक्रे आयोजनाहरूलाई प्राथमिकता दिएको देखियो. प्रदेश स्तरका गौरवका आयोजनाहरूलाई बजेट कम र साना आयोजनाहरूलाई बजेट बढी हाल्नुले पनि त्यो प्रश्न देखिन्छ. बागमती प्रदेशको यत्रो संरचनाहरू जलेको र नष्ट भएको अवस्था छ. बागमती प्रदेश सरकारले अहिले प्रदेशको चाहिँ गौरवको योजनाको रूपमा मन्त्रालयहरू प्रदेश सभा बनाउनु पर्ने बेलामा त्यसमा चाहिँ सबभन्दा थोरै रकम राखेर गौरवको आयोजना थोरै रकम राखेर साना आयोजनाहरूमा ठुला बजेट राखेको र वितरणमुखी बजेट बनाएको.
यो बजेटले त एउटा औपचारिकता र यो एउटा सिलसिला निरन्तरताको रूपमा मात्र आयो. यसमा कुनै उत्साहको कुरा, नयाँ योजना अथवा कार्यान्वयन पक्षमा सशक्तिकरण त्यस्तो केही पनि देखिएन. त्यस अर्थमा भन्नुपर्दा बागमती प्रदेशको यो पटकको बजेट पनि निरन्तरताकै एउटा अर्को पाटो मात्र हो.
बागमती प्रदेश सरकारले तुलनात्मक रूपले विगतका सालहरूभन्दा यो वर्षको बजेट उत्कृष्ट छ, राम्रो छ. जनभावना बुझेर समानुपातिक समावेशी भूगोलको आधारमा क्षेत्रको आधारमा सन्तुलन ढङ्गबाट मिलाएर बजेट ल्याएको छ.
बजेट चाहिँ निरन्तरता मात्रै देखिएको छ यो वर्ष पनि. खासै यो बागमती प्रदेशका जनताहरूलाई उत्साहित हुने खालको बजेट चाहिँ देखिएन. अब समग्रमा चाहिँ अध्ययनै गर्नुपर्छ, किनभने म कुनै अर्थशास्त्री पनि होइन. त्यो भएको भएर चाहिँ अध्ययन नगरिकन हल्का ढङ्गले भन्न उचित नहोला.
तारतम्य नमिले जस्तो देखिन्छ. के कुराहरू समेट्न खोज्नु भएको छ, के कुराहरूलाई निरन्तरता दिन खोज्नु भएको छ, थोरै कुराहरू चाहिँ नयाँ पनि समेट्न खोज्नु भएको छ.
बजेट अब समयमै आएको छ, एउटा सकारात्मक पक्षको
अब यो थोरै महत्त्वाकांक्षिता छ अब व्यवहारमा कसरी जान्छ भन्ने कुरोमा हेर्न बाँकी नै छ तर यो केन्द्रीय बजेट भन्दा त्यो परिमार्जित भएर आएको छ
अब त्यो हेरिसकौँ पहिला पेन्डाल हेरिसकेपछि अनि मात्रै थाहा होला अहिलेको चाहिँ परिस्थिति चाहिँ राम्रो लाग्यो
एकदम राम्रो बनेको छ राम्रो आएको छ
And that was our cover story of the day. On to other news. Nepal's Medical Education Commission has approved and decided to implement the Scholarship Grant Procedures 2083 BS, aiming to address long-standing legal and administrative issues related to scholarship funding in medical education. The meeting of the Commission, chaired by Prime Minister Balendra Shah and convened at the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers at Singha Darbar today, took the decision to this effect. According to Deepa Dahal, Prime Minister Shah's press and research expert, the procedure was endorsed within 24 hours of receiving approval from the Ministry of Education and Sports and the Ministry of Finance, resolving legal ambiguities and procedural challenges that had long persisted in the sector. The procedure was introduced after the promulgation of the ordinance to amend some Nepal Acts 2083 BS published in the Nepal Gazette. The newly approved procedure has also paved the path for granting funds to public educational institutions for providing free scholarships. The venue for the first national convention of Rashtriya Swatantra Party has been changed. Earlier, it was scheduled to be held at Hotel Star Ratnanagar. The party has now decided to hold its first national convention in Bharatpur from June 21st to the 23rd. It is shared that the inaugural ceremony of the convention would be held at Guest House Ground of Bharatpur, while closed session would take place at Industrial Exhibition Centre of Chitwan Association of Industries. RSP has expected around 50,000 people in the inaugural session. Chiefs of national-level political parties, representatives from neighbouring countries have been invited in the inaugural session. Around 3,000 representatives from parts of Nepal would participate in the closed session. Nepal's Special Court has granted the Commission for the Investigation of Abusive Authority permission to keep Department of Passports Director General Tirtharaj Aryal and Director Sunil Kumar Kesi in judicial custody for 4 days. A bench comprising Special Court Chairperson Sudarshan Dev Bhatta and members Umesh Koirala and Bidur Koirala issued the order effective from Monday, according to Special Court spokesperson Krishna Saran Lamichhane. The authority had sought an extension of custody, alleging that Aryal and Kesi were involved in corruption related to the passport printing process. The anti-graft body is investigating the officials on charges of corruption in passport procurement and printing. Now, laboratory staffs across all 136 local governments of Nepal's Madhya province have staged a sit-in protest in front of Public Health Laboratory Office in Janakpur Dham, demanding payment of their salaries. The demonstrators say they have not received salaries or benefits for the past 7 months. Technicians said they were compelled to protest as salaries and benefits have not been paid since last 7 months, as their contract renewal issue remains in limbo. The protesting staff have warned of stronger demonstrations if their demands are not met. Students from community schools in Nepal's remote Himalayan district of Humla have showcased a range of modern technological innovations at a special exhibition organized to promote interest in science and technology. The exhibition featured projects developed by students from 3 community schools within the municipality. The initiative aimed to encourage students' engagement with technology and foster scientific thinking, creativity, and research skills. Students from grades 5 to 10 displayed various innovations, including water purification systems using sand, stones, and charcoal, plastic waste management solutions for environmental conservation, disaster management technologies, and smart irrigation systems. It is the first technology exhibition of its kind ever held in Humla district.
Investment from all three tiers of government has been increasing in tourist destinations with the objective of enhancing the income and livelihoods of local residents. Under a multi-year plan supported by the Swiss government, an investment of 18 million rupees was made this year in the construction of Falgunanda Circuit trekking trail. Completion of the route has given hopes to locals that their livelihood will be improved. Subeksha Rajak, along with local correspondent Bidyabodh Lawati from Paththar, brings more.
As part of the campaign to promote employment opportunities within the country, the Tourism Promotion and Infrastructure Development Initiative has become a source of employment for residents of the hilly districts of eastern Nepal. The Falgunanda Trekking Trail project was launched last year with financial support from the federal government, provincial government, local governments, and Swiss Development Cooperation. According to local residents, the trekking trail passes through dozens of major tourist destinations located in the Himalayan and hilly regions of eastern Nepal, creating tourism-based business opportunities for hundreds of people in the area.
स्ट्यान्डर्ड हिसाबले चाहिँ हैन अब नर्मल हिसाबले 180 150 सम्म हामी अटाउन सक्छौं ट्रेन र यो 5-7 वटा घरमा हामी त्यतिसम्म चाहिँ अटाउन सक्छौं.
The Falgunanda trekking trail, which begins from the Nepal-India border through Ilam and Paththar and extends towards the Kanchenjunga Himalayan region in Taplejung, is currently under construction. In the first phase, 100 kilometers of trekking trail have been developed. The trail begins from Fidim Bazar and Mai Pokhari and passes through Labrikutti, Silauti and Suke Pokhari before connecting to Sandakpur, creating an attractive and scenic trekking route.
एकदम खुसी हो सर म आफै स्वयं पनि रोजगारमा लागिरहेको छु अब कम्पनी हिँड्न आटेको मान्छे हो म
हैन 42% को काम सकिएछ यो हाम्रो फिदिमदेखि चारातेसम्म चाराते सन्दकपुरसम्म जोडिन्छ.
Fidim Municipality Mayor Mitra Prasad Kafle stated that more than 140 million Nepali rupees have been allocated for the trail in the coming fiscal year.
Fidim Nagarima, Suke Pokhari, Lohatil, Saduta, र ठुलीटा जस्ता अत्यन्तै महत्त्वपूर्ण स्थानहरू रहेका छन्. ती स्थानहरूलाई अवलोकन गर्ने, ती स्थानहरूमा पुग्ने र त्यहाँको मनोरम दृश्यहरू हेर्ने कार्यले चाहिँ मानिसको मन जित्न सफल भएको छ.
The trekking trail offers an easy route for a week to 10-day walking journey, allowing visitors to observe the unique high-hill natural landscapes as well as the local art and culture of the region.
Senior news editor at Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal and content co-coordinator at NTV World, Shivani Thapa Basnyat has been bereaved of her spouse. Serving Colonel of Nepali Army Pukar Basnyat passed away this morning at the age of 46. Late Colonel Basnyat was undergoing treatment at Medicity Hospital in Kathmandu. He was diagnosed with septic shock, the most severe form of sepsis where the body's immune system overreacts to an infection. Last rites of late Basnyat were performed today at Pashupati Aryaghat with full military honor. A band of Nepal Army offered final guard of honor to the departing colonel. Late Basnyat is survived by his wife and a son. International headliners coming up next, but before that, a recap of the top stories this hour. Discussion on appropriation bill to continue in Nepal's lower house tomorrow as well. Concerned ministers to respond to queries raised by lawmakers. Nepal government brings OTT platform under legal radar, makes registration and permission mandatory. Nepal and China hold high-level talks in Beijing. Both sides pledge of stronger economic and strategic engagement. Iran says ending war in Lebanon most important issue in deal with US. Trump says Iran can never have nuclear weapon. G7 leaders holding meet in France focus mainly on Middle East security, maritime stability and energy routes.
And France to meet Senegal in tonight's World Cup clash. Iraq to take on Norway, while Argentina to face Algeria. The United Nations Security Council voted unanimously to renew the organization's UNAMA mission in Afghanistan, despite questions about its objectives and methods from Washington. Key to coordinating aid in the country, UNAMA was extended for a full year to June 17, 2027, according to a copy of the resolution. Member states stressed the importance of continued humanitarian coordination and monitoring of the situation in Afghanistan. The resolution reaffirmed support for UNAMA's mandate in facilitating dialogue and delivery of assistance across the country. The Council called for sustained international engagement to address Afghanistan's worsening economic and humanitarian conditions. The European Parliament has given final approval to a tariff agreement reached last year with the US, paving the way for the European Union to eliminate tariffs on a range of US industrial goods. The vote marks the final political step required to implement the deal before a July 4 deadline set by US President Donald Trump, who had threatened to impose new tariffs on European vehicle imports if the agreement was not ratified. Under the deal, both sides aim to ease trade tensions and strengthen transatlantic economic ties by reducing barriers to industrial trade. The approval comes amid broader efforts by Washington and Brussels to avoid a renewed trade dispute and reinforce economic cooperation at a time of global market uncertainty. The Ebola outbreak in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has not yet reached its peak and could continue for up to another year. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies has warned. Speaking via video link from Eastern DRC, IFRC Operations Manager Bruno Mikon said health authorities and aid agencies remain concerned about the trajectory of the outbreak. The outbreak caused by the rare Bundibugyo strain of Ebola has claimed 192 lives so far, according to government figures. Authorities say the disease is spreading rapidly across 3 provinces in eastern DRC. Health officials said that although the outbreak was declared more than a month ago, the true scale of infections remain unclear. It raises concerns that the epidemic could continue to expand in the coming months. Coral reefs are thriving off Kenya's coast, evidence of a rare good news story in the battle to protect oceans from ravages of climate change. Surveys highlight their recovery from the last major coral bleaching event in 2024, explains Kenya Wildlife Service Ranger Edward Karanja, stressing the resilience of the ecosystem. A new study presented at the Our Ocean conference in Mombasa has found 166,000 square kilometers of the world's coral reefs, around a third of total, are particularly climate resilient, meaning they have the potential to survive through major ocean warming events. Researchers say these resilient reef systems could play a crucial role in global conservation strategies, serving as a critical biodiversity refuges as ocean temperatures continue to rise due to climate change. Business news lined up next. For now, a short breather.
Wall Street stocks opened sharply higher after the United States and Iran announced a deal aimed at ending the Middle East conflict, triggering a steep decline in oil prices. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 1%, while the S&P 500 gained 1.5% and the Nasdaq climbed 2.4% in early trading as investors welcomed the development. The agreement also raised hopes for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global oil shipping route, although key issues, including Iran's nuclear program, remained subject to further negotiations. Among individual companies, SpaceX shares surged more than 7% following last week's initial public offering, while TripAdvisor jumped after announcing the sale of its European restaurant platform, The Fork, to American Express. The Bank of Japan raised its benchmark interest rate to 1%, the highest level in 31 years, as it sought to curb inflation linked to the recent Middle East conflict. The 25 basis point increase marked the central bank's first rate link since December and lifted borrowing costs to their highest level since 1995. The bank said rising crude oil prices had increased inflationary pressures despite the government energy subsidies and warned that consumer prices could exceed its 2% target. Officials also signaled that further policy adjustment could follow while monitoring developments in the Middle East and their impact on Japan's economy, inflation, and financial markets.
前回の会合以降の状況を見ますと、中東情勢については、米国及びイラン双方が戦闘終結等に関する覚書に合意した旨を発表するなど、さまざまな動きが見られており、これは望ましい動きというふうに言えると思います。もっとも、今後の物流の回復ペースなどを含めて、依然として不透明な状況は続いています。
Venezuela signed an agreement with General Electric to begin the recovery of its deteriorating national electricity system. Officials said the government announced that the plan aimed to restore 1,000 megawatts within the first 24 months and more than 5,000 megawatts over 4 years, following technical assessments conducted by the U.S. company. Authorities said the initiative came amid ongoing power shortages across the country, where daily blackouts have affected large parts of the population and even reached the capital in recent years. Officials described the deal as a historic step toward strengthening the national grid, while General Electric said the program would help improve generation capacity and system stability in the coming years.
And with that, we move on to sports update. Athletes have filed a petition at Nepal Supreme Court expressing dissatisfaction with the swimming team selection process for the Asian Games. Swimmers Erwin Shrestha, Medhavi Kisi and Nirnay Thapa said they approached the court after alleging that the Nepal Swimming Association selected athletes arbitrarily without giving them an opportunity to compete. The petition names the Nepal Swimming Association, Nepal Olympic Committee and National Sports Council as respondents. According to swimmer Medhavi, the Supreme Court has scheduled a hearing on the matter for tomorrow. The swimmers said they were seriously dissatisfied with the preliminary selection process conducted by the association for the Aichi Nagoya Asian Games 2026. They argued that several decisions, evaluation criteria and the overall selection procedure used in the recently completed preliminary trials had raised questions among many athletes. Now, a series of World Cup group stage matches are set to take place tonight, with several high-profile international teams in action as the battle for qualification intensifies. Aprila Kisinglama looks more deeper in this report.
Tournament debutant Cape Verde produced one of the biggest surprises of the tournament so far, holding former world champion Spain to a goalless draw in the FIFA World Cup 2026 Group H opener. The African nation defended resolutely to claim its first ever World Cup point, while Spain failed to break through despite dominating possession for most of the match. In another Group H fixture, Saudi Arabia earned a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Uruguay. Abdullah Al-Amri gave the Green Falcons the lead in the first half, before Maxi Araujo rescued a point for the South Americans with a late equalizer. In Group G, Egypt continued the day's string of upsets by holding Belgium to a 1-1 draw, earning a valuable point against one of Europe's top sides. The day's most entertaining contest came in Los Angeles, where Iran twice came from behind to draw 2-2 with New Zealand. Elijah Just scored both goals for New Zealand, but Iran responded each time, with Mohammad Mohebbi netting the decisive equalizer in the second half. With the results, all four teams in both Group G and H sit on 1 point after the opening round of matches. In the 4 matches lined up for Day 6, France takes on Senegal in Group I at 12:45 a.m. Nepali Standard Time, followed by Iraq against Norway at 3:45 a.m. Defending champion Argentina begins its World Cup campaign against Algeria at 6:45 a.m. Nepal Standard Time, while Austria face Jordan in the other Group J fixture.
80-year-old educator D. Radnasid has compiled and maintained detailed records of every FIFA World Cup tournaments since its inception in 1930, preserving decades of football history through personal documentation. Radnasid, a retired Mongolian language and literature teacher and also former principal of School No. 1 in Zamin ud Som of Dornogobi province, has spent decades collecting information on World Cup matches, teams, players and tournament results. His archive contains records from all FIFA World Cups, beginning with the inaugural tournament in Uruguay in 1930 and continuing through the most recent competition in Qatar in 2022. He said he hopes Germany or Portugal will win this World Cup title and express admiration for emerging stars led by Kylian Mbappe as veteran players approach the end of their international careers. Nepal's monsoon is likely to be delayed this year, with meteorologists attributing the setback to strengthening El Niño conditions in the Pacific Ocean.
Likely to be delayed this time in Nepal because it has already eluded tentative time for its entry. It is yet to make presence in Nepal even after the passage of 3 days of its entry date compared to the last year. According to a spokesperson at the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, Vibhuti Pokhrel, June 13 is a tentative date for the monsoon arrival in Nepal. However, this time the country is bound to wait for a few more days, as the data obtained from satellites and mathematical weather forecasting suggest. The El Niño phenomenon developing in the Pacific Ocean is further strengthening, which is likely to affect the monsoon onset in Nepal, according to the Weather Forecasting Division. It added that the monsoon in South Asia, including in Nepal, may weaken due to the development of El Niño. Earlier, the monsoon was delayed in Nepal in 1972, 1982, 1983, 1987, 1992, 1997, 2002, 2009, 2016, 2019, and 2023.
Now to weather updates, first from Nepal and then around the world. Before wrapping up, here's a reminder of our top stories. Discussion on appropriation bill to continue in Nepal's lower house tomorrow as well. Concerned ministers to respond to queries raised by lawmakers. Nepal government brings OTT platform under legal radar, makes registration and permission mandatory. Nepal and China hold high-level talks in Beijing. Both sides pledge of stronger economic and strategic engagement. Iran says ending war in Lebanon most important issue in deal with US. Trump says Iran can never have nuclear weapon. G7 leaders hold meet in France, focus mainly on Middle East security, maritime stability and energy routes. And France to meet Senegal in tonight's World Cup clash. Iraq to take on Norway while Argentina to face Algeria. That's it for this edition of News Hour here on NTV World. Do join us through our social media pages and also visit our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Thanks for staying with us. Good night.